you ready?
Hello, boys, and welcome to the second segment of the seasonal discussion for a season that we didn't do the first segment for. If this is well received, we will try to do a kind of a summer wrap up, and we start off with the roundups, and here's the spring wrap up for the last season.
The only reason why this won't do well is because spring's over, but the fucking summer one will do well regardless. Don't even fucking play like we're not gonna do it for summer.
I think we're going to do it for summer. The question is, will we get out fast enough? Because there's only going to be two of us here for most of it. None will come in because we'll talk about two shows that he watched later. But for most of it, it's just going to be us two. And that's my concern for the summer one as well, because I don't know how timely Vindy and None are going to be with watching stuff and how much they're going to watch. Because we're definitely, I feel like, the seasonal gobblers, which is why we're here talking about...
Craftsdwarf, want to hear... Who am I? Guess who I am?
Seasonals, they're evil. Oh, they're the worst.
Oh, and Vindy. But
Nomad just a little bit more vocal about it, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, they're both cringe. So,
are you gonna explain the format, or? Yeah,
I was gonna explain it. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go basically in air date order. And we'll have time codes in the description below for all you fuckers who were like,
right? Because so I'm gonna try and separate them by spoilers and non-spoilers. Because for shows that only one of us watched, we're just gonna speak about it generally. Because there's no point in trying to have a spoilery discussion with someone who hasn't seen the show. But for the shows that both of us seen, we're probably gonna split it into two, like we would a backlog. So yeah. Anyway, you're up first with shows only you watched.
Yeah. So this first one is technically cheating, but it finished in spring. So I think about it.
It's perfectly valid to talk about either shows that are still ongoing or shows that finished. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm talking about Kumo desu ka Nani ka, or I was reincarnated as a spider. So what? And it's that spider isekai that I mentioned on the Weeb Club backlog on the Weeb Club's weekly. For our backlog for our weekly roundup part, and it's a very, very interesting show. I think so. Basically, to go over the premise again, what happens is, this classroom full of kids, all one day just fucking gets nuked, magically nuked. They're all dead, and the next thing that we see is that one of the students is reincarnated as a spider, right? This character doesn't actually have a name. We never actually get her name. Fans just call her Kumoko, and the ED also refers to her by the fan name, but she doesn't officially have a name in the series. Basically, what happens is she got the worst card possible. She got reincarnated as a spider, not just any spider, but a spider who's the weakest in this fucking hell chasm of a dungeon where everything is out to kill each other. And her own siblings are fucking cannibals and shit. They were the first thing she sees is them eating each other for survival. And the whole point is her surviving inside this dungeon and trying to find out what happened. Because apparently, as the show goes, as the second episode shows, and the opening, because the opening pretty much spoils a lot of things. Both openings are fucking bangers, by the way. The second one's a Konomi Suzuki opening. Basically, we find out that other students in the class, all the students in the class were reincarnated in this world.
Just the class or the whole school?
Just the class.
Okay.
It's only this classroom that got nuked for some reason. So, for reasons that are explained later. But, basically, including the teacher in that classroom, all the students got reincarnated. And they're, slowly meeting up with each other. And they're trying to find out what happened. And so, for a while, you're, led to believe that, Kumoko is essentially this girl named Wakaba. You were told that she's because she has the memories of she says that back in her previous life she was Wakaba, and she was a loner and outcast, and now that she's a fucking spider. She got the worst fucking Like she's a monster while everybody else is basically a person, and it sucks. And she's used for most. So like, there's two halves of the show. The first half is Kumoko fucking around in the dungeon trying to live, and the second half is the humans. And like the human stuff is mildly uninteresting until you see how the story plays out. So like, I've been like watching a bunch of random isekai for no reason, and I've kind of enjoyed the genre more as more stuff that I've watched. And this one was really interesting. I think its biggest flaw is its production. Like, it looks janky sometimes, and like it uses heavy CG that doesn't work well with it.
Which sounds like the kind of thing that would be fixed if you read the manga or presumably the original light novel. I don't know what it's right. So
that's basically the gist of it. Like I literally see. Here's the thing. It's kind of like an in-story mystery. You're trying to figure out what's going on throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. So there's like not a lot you can spoil, right?
There's way too much I can spoil. So I'm just gonna cut it off there. I gave that show an 8 out of 10. It was very fun. You're gonna notice that I'm very positive about every show that I didn't drop. Yeah. Yeah. So I have very high opinions because, like, again, I could only sit through something that I thoroughly enjoyed through, and one day I just got fucking whacked out of my mind. Fucking watch Kumo watch the Spider Isekai, and it was fucking great. So that's a good recommendation. Good shit.
And I guess with a kind of like asterisk there, like if the production value bothers you, just maybe check out the manga. But what you said is like you got Yuki Ali, right? It was good voice actress, most of the show is her, talking. So
she's
if you
like the
her,
only person who talks. Yeah, she's
watch the show.
So like in the dungeon sections of her, she's the only one who talks, and she like talks to herself, and like it's really I think I mentioned this on the weekly, but like the way it portrays Kumoko outside as opposed to like when she's actually with like she perceives herself to be this cute little, like, she has like a cute little face, almost looks like an
anime girl kind of face, right? But monsterish, yeah. But
but then when you actually see what she looks like a fucking hellspawn nightmare, and it's funny to imagine, but she's still doing the same motion she does, right? Rolling around.
Yeah, you talked about right. Yeah, it's funny. It sounds funny. Yeah. I haven't seen it obviously, but I can imagine it, and it's
And the Demon Lord's a lolly. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Add it to my plan to watch? No, okay.
So yeah, that's Kumo desu Nanika. The next one is of course My Hero Academia's season 5.
More like 5 out of 10. Sorry, I had to. I'm sorry. Craftsdwarf. I mean, I did hear that this season's a little like they're just changing the order of some of the arcs apparently.
Yeah,
which is a little
they
weird.
moved My Villain Academia to the end of the season rather than where it is before fucking the Endeavor fucking internship.
And maybe that'll make it for a better like climax of the core, but that does change what the arcs what the purpose of the arc structure was in the original manga.
Yeah,
so,
there's another reason too because it's trying to tie into the movie that's coming out.
Ah, that's right. I did remember because there's a one shot too for that. So anyway, go ahead.
That's basically it basically changed my mind about Class A versus Class B. Rewatching this arc, because here's the one thing I'll say about My Hero Academia's anime is that like the way it does fights is phenomenal. Like when it goes full Sakuga and shit, when it does actually like fight scenes and like the way it does the music and the voice acting is really fucking good. Like I enjoy watching My Hero Academia's anime a lot. Like I didn't like A versus B, probably also because I think I don't know. I forgot if I was weekly when I got to A versus B or if no, I was, because I was there when everybody's fucking mauling about the reveal that, oh my god, Deku has more powers than just super strength. Like, oh my god, guys, you didn't think that was gonna happen?
I didn't know he was inspired by Spider-Man! How can you have all these Spider-Man powers? Ah!
It is really funny, though, that, like, when you really
He's literally
Spider-Man.
Like, he's literally Spider-Man.
Fucking Horikoshi said he loves Spider-Man. He's a high Spider-Man stan. Like, bruh. But it was so funny. Like, when you really go back and, like, people are calling it filler. People are saying, nothing happens. You don't remember anything about Class B. And you might not.
Oh, well, I didn't care for that. I read it all at once, but I don't care for MHA in general, so, like, don't listen to me when
you're
it comes.
You're not the person to talk about. Silence, old man. This is too advanced for you.
A versus B, more like A versus Z.
You're funny, Craftsdwarf.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Here's my Craftsdwarf funny compilation. Anyway, so
thank you for watching.
So MHA season 5 really does like the way it handles the fights really makes the arc a lot like easier to experience. And when I rewatched it, it was like, man, the way it handles fucking,
you rewatched the anime again, or you just saw it for the first time and then re-experienced the material?
Arc
okay, gotcha.
I'm re-experiencing the arc
sorry,
again.
just making sure. I wasn't sure from the wording.
That'd be weird, but like.
Yeah, I was like, why would you watch it again already? But anyway, go ahead.
Because I'm horny.
Oh, there was the one Tokage, the scale girl. She's kind of hot.
Yeah. There's a really hot dojin. Where, like.
Oh.
Anyway, so like.
Link it. Anyway.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Shinzo's so
okay,
fucking good.
Sorry, real quick. I got a DM real quick, and for a second I thought you linked it, but it was just the manji.
Yeah, well, he's French. Fucking yeah. So that's aside from like Shinzo being fucking a hero, the fucking Bakugo fight being one of the fucking coolest shit ever. There is one problem with this season. Both of its openings suck doo-doo caca balls. They're so bad. I don't understand how they suck this much ass.
What? Real quick, rather than ordering the openings, I want to hear like what season has the best openings, like combined, basically. Okay, well that's good. Okay, because yeah, I thought like they were fine.
People disagree because everybody likes peace sign or no, Polaris and the Kanabun opening are both better. They're both better.
I mean, I've only seen the other ones a couple of times, and they didn't remember. They don't stick with me at all.
MHA's weakness has always been how it has its openings, because legitimately, even though Polaris is my favorite, no MHA openings going anywhere like in my top like not even my top like 30 maybe, not even my top 50 actually, because they're so like
they do seem kind of like, hey, you've seen anime OPs before. Look what I got for you. Like a little.
I turned into Craftsdwarf experiencing MHA when I watch the MHA openings. And like, holy shit, it has a man with a mission opening, the second opening, and it's not good. I don't know how the fuck you do that. But like, it's insane.
MHA, it's got the mud touch. It turns everything it touches to mud.
It's got the Shigaraki touch.
The Shigaraki touch. That's okay.
Yeah. But the EDs are both bangers, and I was like, so they put all their stock into the EDs musically this time.
You mean the budget?
Understandable. Craftsdwarf, don't say budget to me, because someone probably actually believes that though. So like,
man, this season didn't have a lot of budget.
I can't believe some people say this fucking season's filler when it literally is one of the most important moments ever. Like, I'm fucking like gonna shoot myself every time
it just feels like filler. It feels like it. I don't like it, so it has to be filler.
Like, oh my god.
MHA fans are the whiniest, most entitled fuckers, I swear to God.
MHA fans, literally every other fan of every other manga.
Oh no, actually, Haikyuu fans, like when they complain, which is less frequent, it comes like Alpha's even dumber, honestly, because like,
what do Haikyuu fans even complain about?
I got an excellent anime adaptation and a stellar manga ending, and everyone loves it. It's literally like,
I'm so upset. My pool's too big. I can't swim through all of it.
God. At least MHA fans, I can expect the brain rot because it's so popular. But Haikyuu's like at a specific point about it's not the biggest thing ever. So, but it's also like so well received that like when it does get the like two people who are like, I hate it when people complain about Haikyuu. Like, shut the fuck up.
Please locate them. I want to find out who they are.
You know that one image where it's like there's the one girl crying and she has an arrow?
Yeah, no, that's what I was referencing.
Yeah, it's so...
Can you get that? At this moment, put it on screen, because like that's what I was like saying.
No, there's
like,
another version where it's got like there's a dude with even more arrows, like drawn in a cartoonish style, like an edit, like in the background. And like, so it's like the Haikyuu fans are the one with the one arrow. The MHA fans that got like a bunch of arrows, and the dude in the back is like Bleach and Naruto.
And Black Clover.
Right, where it's like they've just like embraced the suffering because
they just don't care anymore. They're
and
like, okay.
they've legitimately had like the Bleach. Go watch the Bleach anime. I fucking dare you. I fucking dare you. I fucking
Dude, watch,
anyway.
imagine
We are off
watching the
topic.
Bleach
We are
anime.
off topic. We should go back
Yeah.
to MHA.
MHA season 5, good. I cry. Next.
So, this one's a show that you dropped that I didn't. Godzilla
Yeah.
SP.
Please convince me to pick it back up.
I don't think I can because, like,
Okay.
here's the thing with Godzilla.
Thanks for
It's
watching.
like if this is show, it's like if it's not your thing, you're gonna drop it. You'll maybe finish it and give it like a 6. If it is your thing, this is like your favorite anime of the year. This is like one like because I would legitimately say, even though it's like maybe my second or third like least favorite show that I finished. No, second least favorite show that I finished. I think it's probably the most interesting show of the year, or at least of the season. Because like it is like one thing I was thinking while watching is because like sci-fi kind of has to like or sci-fi ages, right? Like in the 50s, a dinosaur that was somehow alive under the ocean, and then it gets hit by radiation, become a monster, and attacks Japan. That's like neat and interesting, right? You haven't seen that before. That was in the 50s. Nowadays, Godzilla is such like he's like the biggest Japanese pop culture icon, at least in America, I would say, because he's kind of like transcended being like, oh, it's that Japanese thing. Like, no, it's Godzilla. People just know Godzilla, right?
Was
so
also Pikachu. Well,
so I feel like Godzilla SP kind of like I recommended this anime to my friend, a friend who is really he like reads like actual science papers and shit, and he's talked to me about some really like fucking heady shit.
Nerd.
And he loves this show because like in the first episode they're going through the library of a scientist guy, and they just offhandedly mention a book about category theory, and my friend is like, who's writing anime and knows about category theory? And I look at I couldn't understand the Wikipedia page for category theory. Like, it deals in a lot of really heady science bullshit. I thought it was easy. I at least understood it, but there's just a lot of exposition. There's a lot of like literature and folklore and philosophy references. Like, this show is a lot. Like, it's the Bleach of Godzilla.
Oh.
Right? And if like you don't feel like unpacking that or sitting down like then it's not going to be free. And the other thing is like just the sci-fi nature of it. Like, the characters are that they talk about their ideals sometimes. You don't really learn much about them. The character design's really fucking good, especially the May, the girl with the big glasses.
Cute lady.
Fucking adorable. I want to pick her up. She blushes in like episode 4 or 5, and she's adorable. But like, because the point of the character, like, it's not even necessarily about them per se. It's more about like, here's these characters who are doing their best in a crisis situation, and yeah, they're there to exposit sci-fi stuff and explain what's going on, so that when the giant robot fights the monster, you know why that's important and why that matters. And that's just kind of how Godzilla always is, right? Like, the human characters are there to explain the point of what's going on, and the monsters fight, and there's Joe on his side channel, the Pause and Select Sword of Damocles, he has a Godzilla video where he talks about how Godzilla kind of took influence from wrestling and how it's doing this sort of like thing I would associate more as shonen, just because that's when the monsters fight, it's also like an ideological conflict. Like Godzilla versus King Kong it's East versus West. It's nature corrupted by man versus natural nature. It like there's a few things going right, like that's just how conflict works. And so so here's Godzilla, and it's a Godzilla thing, but it's very modernized. It's using it's like retelling Godzilla, but in a modern day era. Actually slightly futuristic, I should say. And it's like reimagining some of the monsters. I will say some of the CG is a little weird, but I would argue that the use of CG is still fitting because they're supposed to be alien, right? Like, or unnatural. Like, kaiju are sort of like, they're natural unknown forces. That's sort of what they're kind of represent. So by having them be CG, it sort of like drives home how like unnatural. Like one of them, Angrigas, he sees into the future and can redirect his scales like to protect him and redirect bullets like back at whoever shoots them and shit like that. And yeah, at the end the robot fights Godzilla, and it's really cool, right? So it's like, if it's not your thing, I totally get that. like I was personally fine, like, because I like some sci-fi concept bullshit sometimes, and I thought it was interesting because there's Buddhism, you know, there's like it's doing a lot. And it's just really kind of dense. It's also unfinished, but because it ends off with a cliffhanger. There's going to be presumably a season 2.
I think there is one I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, because the last episode ends off with a certain iconic Godzilla character that does not show up in the previous parts of the show. So we're presumably going to get more. But yeah, I legitimately enjoyed it. I thought it was neat. It's definitely a lot though, because again, there's just so many like references to stuff, and you know, I could totally understand, like, because if you're just not engaged with it, then all the exposition. I thought it was interesting exposition, right? Like people go like when people just say, oh, exposition, like it's automatically like kind of a negative, but like I don't think that's the case, and not in this show. I think like. This is just how Godzilla works. I've seen a shitload of Godzilla movies. This is my second favorite piece of Godzilla media after Shin Godzilla. I like this more than literally any Godzilla movie I've seen. Right? So like that's what I say when I think like, because if you are a big Godzilla fan and you really like heady sci-fi bullshit, then this is, you have already watched the show and it's like your favorite anime of the year so far, right? Like, or you really like gotta be top 5. Like it's just the kind of show it is. So it's like, you know what, I'm not like, it's just not your thing, and it's kind of a niche thing, and I think that's perfectly fine, because I'm glad for the show for what it is, and like I said, my friend who really likes the sci-fi bullshit really likes the show, so you know. Did you remember anything that I didn't bring up that you wanted to say, speaking of someone who watched like 2 episodes?
I watched 1. The lady was cute. I want to comb her glasses.
She is cute. Nah. Same. I mean, what? So anyway, I also watched the next show, which is SSSS.Dynazenon, which I did even briefly bring it up in my recent Gridman video. I would say like this show is very like I'd say it's comparably good. Like the direction is phenomenal. It's like see, I guess what's the biggest difference between it and Gridman is I think Gridman uses references to not just the original Gridman but other things in like really interesting ways. Where Dynazenon is kind of like, it pulls back, mostly it references SSSS Gridman, and mostly it does so like in a visual, like directional sense. And the other major difference I would say is that like Gridman very much focuses on Akane, to the point that I would argue that even the other, like most of the other main characters are sort of meant to foil Akane more than they are to be like characters. Which some people had a problem with, because they, you know, but you know, if you really like Gridman, like Akane's a great character, right? Where with Dynazenon, I think it very much more focuses on its overall cast, and as a result, like, it just has a better cast overall. Like, they're all good and dumb, and they all have their issues and problems, and it's very much like, you know, it's well-directed. It uses a lot of, like, showing without necessarily telling you directly. Like, there's one character, like, why is this middle schooler hanging out with this fucking neat loser who can't find a job? Well, they don't really tell you directly. They show you, and then you see she's going back to school later on in the show. And, you know, you kind of have to infer that kind of thing. And I will say that it is, like, like, all the entries they're both the anime entries, they're made to be watched, like, standalone, so you can still enjoy it if you have not seen Gridman. Though
they're enhanced by Gridman.
Either of them. The original Gridman or, SSSS Gridman, though I did make my video like kind of saying like, hey, if you want to watch, like, this is my suggestion, because there is one episode of the original Gridman that Dynazenon very much borrows from, like thematically, like literally one of the characters in Dynazenon is actually a one-off character from that episode who's just there, and it's and then, but like, it's not necessary. And even watching, like, and there's also 2 characters who appear who were in SSSS Gridman. If you see in SSSS Gridman, they are the Auntie and the Kaiju Loli. Who they kind of end off, and they meet up at the end of the show, and they show up in SSS.Dynazenon, and they're older. The Kaiju Loli has some fat fucking tits, and she's adorable. And and Auntie's a cool boy. But you know, like, you don't need to have seen the original shows, like, they still, you know, are there, but like, you know, there's still like references and stuff that you'll recognize. And like, if you know, I definitely recommend, like, if you want the easiest way is, like, I give an episode guide for the original Gridman in my video. And then, just watch Gridman and Dynazenon. But if you just watch Dynazenon, you'll be fine, I think. And it's especially, like, the thing I had with both SSSS Gridman and Dynazenon is that, like, the first half of the show, like, I enjoyed, but I was like, this is fine. And then the second half of the show, I just, like, continually enjoyed more and more until, like, the final episode, which was just fucking amazing in both cases. So, like, I don't know which I prefer, and I feel like I appreciate both shows more on the whole, rewatching them. But, yeah. I like Dynazenon. It was probably my, did I rank the shows? My third favorite show this season, I think. Really good stuff. Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Already? Oh, no.
Man, we're going to talk about the best show of the season.
Next show. No.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
before we talk about Vivy Flourite Eye's song, I need to preface everything that we're about to say with, like, if, this is, like, the most WattheWut show and the most Craftsdwarf show, like, that
ever made.
Maybe ever made, definitely in the season, probably in the year.
It's...
Oh, no, I'm not ready to talk about fucking Vivy.
It's the 2021 version of Violet Evergarden, and I adore Violet Evergarden. So, we're in for a time, but let's just go ahead and do a non-spoiler part.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So
you describe the premise.
Vivy Flourite Eye's song is a evil show made by evil people about robots, AI, there's AI in the future. Woogity woo. They're taking over our theme parks. They're making the frogs gay, one day, and the first episode kind of hits you with this, one day, all of the AI just fucking murder everyone.
Yeah, a war starts that humanity cannot win. Literally thousands of casualties in the first few minutes of the war, and humanity can't win.
It's surreal as fuck. Watching it happen.
Humanity has become Silverland on technology. Like, imagine, okay, look around and just see all your technology in your room right now. Your computer, your clocks, and now all of it has guns and is trying to kill you. Humanity can't win, right? Like, that's the situation that, the future is in. So, but data can be sent to the past. So a scientist sends a program back in time 100 years to the first autonomous AI, the only one who is active both in the present and the 100 years in the past, to change the future, to stop the war from happening. And that's where Vivy comes in.
Our main character is an idle robot named Diva.
Yes, Diva, who's also called Vivy, that's the title.
Yeah, there's a reason why she's called Vivy, fellas.
I know,
and
yes.
It's pain. I feel nothing but pain.
Right, so, the Violet Evergarden comparison is because, here you have this robot character who... Violet isn't a robot, but she's, still, a tool, and both of them are, female women who become more human and over the course of their show due to the influence of the people that they interact with in sort of episodic little stories. It's very different from Violet Evergarden, but, it's still similar enough that, it's worth comparing it to. I guess another comparison is, so you said evil people. So one of those evil people worked on my favorite visual novel, Chaos Child, as one of the main writers. The other evil person is Nagatsuki, who is the writer of ReZero.
Terrible human being.
So when it's I probably might not have noted it before, but or otherwise, but it's a time travel story where a character goes back in time to change the future, right? A little bit similar to ReZero there. It's just a sci-fi example rather than a isekai fantasy example. And yeah, the show is genetically engineered to hurt me. And also what? Because we both it's our favorite show this season. We're literally considering maybe this is just one of our favorite anime.
This show is evil. Awful, terrible show.
It's it's a monster of a show. So anyway, to talk about it more generally without spoilers, I do think it's interesting. It's also a very good looking show.
It's fucking beautiful.
It's very pretty.
Studio Wit worked on this one.
The music is good. The sound is good. The action is good, especially the scene. You're probably because the main character is a robot, and so she can take some damage, and it gets kind of brutal. Especially the scene in episode 9. I think you remember the one, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just a really like just the way the fights go are very quick and at times, and just they're kind of intense, and it's always interesting to see. And
the composer behind fucking Beastars and the Monogatari series and does that say Orimo? It does say Orimo. And Haruhi Suzumi. What the fuck? Yeah, like behind all these fucking series, the composer behind all those worked on Vivy. And yeah, it's fucking beautiful, sounds amazing, and is a terrible show made by terrible people, made to ruin my life.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about spoilers in a second. I will say, as far as recommendations go, I feel like you know if this show's for you or not after just watch the first 2 episodes, because it's kind of divided into like little arcs, most of which are 2 episodes long. So if you watch the end of episode 2 and you're like, I'm not really feeling it, like your opinion's probably not going to change going forward, because that's just very much like what the show is. But if you do like the first 2 episodes and you are punched emotionally at the end of episode 2 like I was, you're probably going to like the show. So I'd recommend, finishing it. And it's a good fucking show.
Terrible, awful show made by terrible, awful people, made to ruin.
All right,
people's
spoilers.
Emotions. Spoilers. Craftsdwarf. I'm in so much pain. The lives lost.
Why? How did they do it? Every single arc is like made to hurt you.
What is your what would you say is your least favorite arc?
Probably the Ophelia one. And it's not even
God,
because it's bad.
Man,
but it's because like
right?
when I think about the other 4 and even the one-off episode, the episode 10, which was the build up into the last arc, basically. Like they're just like I don't even know, aside from like the last arc is obviously the best one, but the other 3 are like so good it's kind of hard to rank them. And it's like not even that the Ophelia one is bad, it's just like it's a little less good. And it's it is also a little longer, and yeah, it just doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah.
Where the others are just a little bit more concise and they just like fucking hit you.
Don't speak to me about episode 10 ever again, Craftsdwarf. Don't speak to me about episode 10.
Well, see, like I think when I first realized like, oh no, I'm going to like this show and it's going to destroy me, is at the end of episode 2, where it's like, okay, they finished the arc, she saved the guy, he's become a better person because of her, everything's good, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
No, everything's
Wait,
fine.
what's with that plane? Why is Matsumoto fighting Vivy?
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars?
You can't change the future when I don't want you to, Vivy. Who's on the plane? Who is she trying to save?
Stop.
No!
That's so fucking stop. Terrible show made by evil people. Terrible, awful anime made awful. War crime of the series. This is Craftsdwarf. That's so fucked. That's so unbelievably. Here's I was laughing because I was like laughing a little bit because like the episode hits you immediately with violence and horror, and I like there's the part.
I was worried that you might like lose interest in the show because like the first part, like the very first scene of the show is like it's almost a little over the top at times, like especially the part like there was a part where it's like this is gonna make what laugh, where like one of the little like camera robots like fucking like they just shoot at people and just like kill them by like
the entire
really
time
fast.
I was just like my fucking face was like what the fuck
it just
happening?
Hits you right away, and like because I didn't even read the premise of the show, I'm just immediately like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on?
Dude, I fucking like, and then like the one who's like the new one who replaced Vivy at the fucking stage is saying, let's
you've messaged me, and it took me a second. Oh, that's what he was messaging me about.
Let's heat it up, and I'm like, they're on fire, and I'm like.
It's a little. If you found like, I would like. I didn't laugh, but if you found parts of that funny, I would totally like get it, right? And especially
I wasn't laughing.
No, I know it's so shocking. Like it's all like, but it's hard not to at least think about that, right?
My face was just like, holy fuck, really? This is fucking insane. And then like the episode starts. She's she's trying to find her purpose or whatever, and I was like, yeah. She's trying to find out what it means to, sing with all of her heart. The little,
Yeah, there's a little girl who's like befriended her and given her a nickname.
What a good friend! What a good friend! What a good friend! What a good friend! What a good friend!
If she died in episode 2.
It would be a fucking shame, wouldn't it, Craftsdwarf? It would be a fucking shame.
It would also be a shame if they introduced a little sister of hers in episode fucking 3 and 4. And then she also kind of comes back, but not really in the last episodes of the show. And it's like, this show just it's genetically engineered to hurt you. And
I love the fact that that the girl differentiates the fact that Vivy's Vivy. Like, she gives her a name, right? That's different from like her model name. You're not I'll call you Vivy from now on. And then like, so from then on, she uses that as like, this is the name that like of like, because the whole show is about like self-actualization, realizing what it means to like to
be human. In her case, as a robot, where also, though I guess you could, she's like deciding her own meaning and purpose, right? Which it's a robot story, but like that's still, I think people have to figure out their own meaning and stuff, right? So it's just her finding that humanity, because I think I realized, like, thinking about the show is like maybe part of the reason I connect to it, because another thing I mentioned connecting to is when like emotionally repressed characters like that repression kind of cracks, and like as characters like super stoic for like 25 episodes just like cries, right? Like that hurts me.
Like Violet Evergarden, like fucking
yes, like that kind of shit. And this is God. And I part of that is because I feel like I've grown up in this environment of just toxic masculinity, where I feel like I can't necessarily show my emotions, and so art is kind of a release of that. And so here's like I just realized like, oh, maybe that's part, because I do really like robot stories. Or I guess how I put it is, when someone asked me like what I like it from sci-fi, I mentioned I like it when something artificial is shown to be or treated as real, right? Like that ties to both, like, because artificial intelligences are like a perfect AI would be indistinguishable from human, therefore it's just a different form of conscience. It might as well be human, right? So I like Pluto is another the Naoki Urasawa manga is another manga I remember really liking. And Vivy Sword Art Online even goes into that with the artificial Fluctlights in Underworld and Alicization, right? And like as was literally one of my favorite shows, so it's like it's an idea I really click with. And so I just so yeah, of course Vivy being that I really like it.
Pain, I feel nothing.
But like the way that because she's the big sister to all these little sisters who are the other what were the sisters, or no, what were the robot names called?
Okay, so basically the sisters are like,
were they just called the sisters? They were,
for the they're just called the sisters. It's everybody who is like the descendant of that uses like her same model or same like programming or whatever.
Yeah, where they're kind of they're right, so they're kind of modeled after the original Diva, who again is the first autonomous AI, and they're generally used for like personable service roles or singing idols. And through her journey, she learns from all these or her little sisters, and sort of compiles all that meaning. And I mean, one of them is even her, kind of, because she has after episode 6.
Oh my God! Fuck.
Look, the way like she had the fucking blue android blood from the fucking the robot she killed, who'd become the core of the place, and then the red blood from the human, and the love that they couldn't share.
That episode is so unbelievably fucked, because the entire, like when he has the phone and it's fucking playing "Sing My Pleasure," and like it sounds distorted, and you find out why she's singing "Sing My Pleasure," and then like there's that fucking scene where like Vivy like is trying to like be like, oh no, maybe he's right, and then Matsumoto's like, does that sound like singing to you? Does that sound like she's singing with all her heart? And then she like fucking turns around and she's like, no, I have to kill her. That's what she
where he's like, well, you're a robot, you have a purpose, right? Well, she was my purpose. And she turns away and there's just a gunshot.
And then she just shuts down, right? It's like the fucking what a terrible show. What a terrible show made by terrible people, made to ruin people. Like, there's so many moments in this show where I was literally sitting in front of my screen sobbing. I was sobbing while watching this fucking show. This shithole fucking anime made by evil people. Because, like, okay, so the first arc, right? We have that fucking scene where airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars. And like
Stop,
fucking,
please! I'm gonna kill you, but keep going.
and then it happens, and then I died. I was like, the episode ended, and I just stared at my screen for a bit, and I was like,
I didn't
what?
cry, but I was just so like I was emotionally like I yeah, just like I lost just energy. Like someone punched me in like my soul, and I'm just
Someone shot my child in front of me.
basically
It was the worst feeling.
because it's just like. Well, like, because it's just, like, it has nothing to do with the AI, and that's exactly why Vivy couldn't stop it, but, like, it's just this tragic accident that kills, like, a person who a human being she cared about, and it's just, it's
the reason she has a fucking name to begin with.
It's told in, like, a minute-long sequence, and it's just, like, it's literally just like, oh, yeah, you're feeling good about that ending? Like, nobody died because of the building fall, she even saved the one bad guy, and maybe he'll turn out, change because of that. Oh, what? You were feeling good? Can't have that.
No feeling good. No good emotions. You must feel pain. It's awful.
So
awful
the
show.
second arc had Estella and Beth.
No.
And
stop. Pain.
yeah,
pain.
and the way Beth got her memories back because remember AI exchange emotions through like touching their foreheads. Vivy fucking headbutts her, and like Beth sort of regains that original like part of her that she lost, and they work together.
You start singing the song as the fucking hotel. Like I think
does
that's like
her
the
duty as an AI,
Vivy,
and she's
the entire
comforting the guests in her last words. It's like
the entire time Vivy was like, "There's no way Estella did this, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And like Matsumoto kept insisting. Like the cool thing about this is that Vivy the entire time is trying to fight for, like, even though her mission is like because like Matsumoto at the same time is like slowly understanding what it means to be human as well,
right?
Like
because he's a program that was like just born yesterday basically, and he starts off having more personality in a sense, but it's like like because he even comments about how like just dry Vivy is, and she's even dry like relatively speaking, like her like AI that she talks to in her home environment kind of thing also has more personality, and it's like, you're too serious, right? Like, but Vivy also, by having that like sing with all your
she
heart,
like thinks
that
and like
some things she values that she doesn't understand, right? She, even if she doesn't act as human, she's also like the most human of the robots, and like, yeah, like you said, Matsumoto also sort of has to become more human and understand, like, because he's sort of like solely focused on the mission. History is like history must be of this objective truth, right? There can't be things that are happening that the history doesn't know about, right? After 100 years, like certainly there isn't this terrorist group that took over Estella
at all times. They're like the fucking Team Rocket, but like it's like they just show up all the time to ruin everything. It's so sad. And then like, oh my god, in fucking episode 3 when she fucking rips off the one's head, and I was like, oh no. But then you find out it's Elizabeth, but then you find about her backstory with she was thrown away because they just figured, oh, experiment over, throw her in the fucking trash. And it's like, of course she would react that way, but like, it's god, like
we already talked about the third arc a bit, so I guess to talk about the feel arc, I think like, because that one was still like fucked, where it's like, well, because I remember we were about to record the Weeb Club, and I was watching episode 8, and I was like, well, I gotta finish this arc, right? Because it's been two episode arcs, like for the whole show so far. Certainly it won't end off on a giant fucking cliffhanger, and for a third episode that this piece of shit show. But the third episode is like, I am Antonio, right? Was the name?
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
There's constant plot twists every single time. You never see it coming. Like, you never see the shit this fucking show pulls. And it's fucking evil. I think that's the thing, though, is that, like, with the Ophelia arc, I think the twist with Antonio was more like, what?
Yeah,
than it was, like,
and then
emotionally
even then,
shocking.
And even, like, maybe it would work more on a rewatch, because, like, at the end, when they sort of, like, commit the double suicide, like, I mean, part of me was just a little confused. Like, I thought, isn't that just Antonio and Antonio? Like, or was Ophelia, I guess she was still in there, I guess. Or, I wasn't, like, 100% sure of what was happening, so emotionally, like, I wasn't quite there. Where, I guess the real emotional stuff was, like, Diva and Vivy with Diva and her song and helping Vivy, and she's sort of like, she's also a little sister who's supporting Vivy because she was kind of born after, in a sense, even though she's like also exists in the same like body. And
God, the way Diva dies was so fucking. Fuck this show. I hate it.
The show is basically like putting her arm in a meat grinder, and every episode is like, well, I got to do another rotation. Ah! Okay, it's done.
No, worse
oh boy,
than
another
that.
episode.
It's like someone's holding my child in front of the meat grinder, and I just gotta watch. I got no choice. It's not giving me a choice, and it's like, please stop hurting me, please. No, you gotta hear your child scream more. It's like, fucking stop, please. Stop hurting her, please. And the fact that Matsumoto keeps trying to leave her out, it's like, at first he's like, oh, you're inefficient, but he's like, he saw what fucking happened to her, and he doesn't want to hurt her again. And it's like, and then Diva fucking sits in front of the door where Vivy's hiding, and she's like, you have to fucking take it from here. You have to do this for me. And it takes her fucking, like, fuck episode 10.
Yeah,
so
it starts off nice enough. Like, here's a kid who's into G-MILFs, because Vivy's a grandma, and he's like, damn, you're hot. I'm gonna come and visit you every day, and I'm gonna bring my friends, and my family, and oh, my wife died, but I have a daughter now. Oh, my daughter died too. Fuck this show.
No, that's not the worst part, right? Because the entire point, this entire episode, right, I think it really fucking, because I think on top of being an AI show, it also kind of highlights like the music career, like the music industry as well. Because the fact that like she was so popular, she was loved by everyone, she was like this big star, and then the moment she quits, the moment that she stops serving the purpose of the public, they shove her in a museum and make her just sit there to be paraded around. So, like, it's fucked. It's so unbelievably fucked. And like the fact that she's there because it's Vivy now. Because Diva's gone, the one who
Vivy
made
can't sing because she still understands even less now what it means to sing with all your heart. And look, the way I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but the way that factors into the fucking climax of the show is so fucking good because it allows the show and fuck this show.
Craftsdwarf, no, you're forgetting the biggest part. That's fucking evil and rude and cruel about episode 10. Is that the entire time she's fucking making her own song. For the first time, an AI got creative and made her own music, and it's this fucking heartwarming, emotional thing. And then the fucking episode ends with the murder happening as they're singing her song.
That's not.
And I was like,
duh, they fucking stole it. Those fuckers. God.
And then fucking Shinpei fucking takes my kid and starts fucking pouring alcohol on the wound that they put in the meat grinder, and I'm like, why are you doing this? You need to stop doing this to me, you fucking evil man.
Look, first you find out that, the AI overlord literally knew what was going on the whole time and was counter-correcting the timeline because fuck you. But it works out because even though the changes that Vivy made still had an effect. Like the fucking guy, the leader, the Tok dude who de-aged down to fight her, and Toak, and he's like, even though he's still like this robot hater, he's because of Vivy and in encountering her, he's slowly changed, and that sort of allowed for the sect of Toak who are like, pro unity, right? Not instead of just like just destroying the AI,
terrorists,
and they're more moderate, and like they're able to like I love that I love that like her actions did have effect on the world, even, and that's good, and it allows for this
it's such a fucking crushing moment when she like wakes up from like writing the song and then there's fire everywhere, and that when that moment hits you, you're like fuck. But then as it like she's like they're thinking that it was hopeless, that nothing they did was pointless. It was like we see the little changes that she like added up, like what you said with Toak, like Elizabeth's back, God, fucking Elizabeth.
Of course,
Being back is fucking-
Osamu Matsumoto had even he like I mean he was still he changed the lease, but he like she was able to save him and make a major difference, and even though they still failed, but they still had a chance, and they went through the like everything's fucked. But
the biggest change though was that they were singing her song this time,
right?
And like the fucking archive is like it's like, I'll give you one last chance to prove that humans and AI can live alongside each other. All you gotta do is sing the song.
Which she can't do because she doesn't. She can't.
And she watches everyone fucking die. So then they send her back one more time. Here's the thing that's fucked about the singing thing, right? That's a fucking callback, or at least like sound wise, to when fucking Grace was singing "Sing My Pleasure." The way it's distorted in the robot voices, it's not singing from the heart. It's just fucking evil robot noises.
They're just robots. They don't understand. They don't feel. They don't understand. They're not singing with right. Exactly. They're just repeating the sounds, right? Which was something that Vivy was struggling with earlier, because she's just singing, and she never quite understood until okay. Here's what gets me about because obviously we're both creatives, right? And we care a lot about art, and you've talked about but for me, I guess what I think really hits me about the climax of this show is because a personal belief I have, I really don't vibe with nihilism whatsoever. I struggle to even Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. I legitimately just do not care for him as a main character, and I think part of that reason is because he's a nihilist. He doesn't accept reality. He just kind of exists, and I just can't connect with that kind of character easily, basically. Not to say that Johan from Monsters a really great antagonist, but but one belief that I guess is, I think I'm follow more of the existentialist train of thought, where I think it's fucking awesome that humans can create their own meaning and follow that. And I think that we're surrounded in a universe that I don't see as having meaning, but we can create our own, and I think that's powerful. So Vivy, in order to literally save humanity and become human, has to decide her own meaning and make that into a song, into her art, right? And because I think I realized, think about the show, is maybe part of the reason I try to be respectful towards other people's art is because that is the meaning that they have attributed to the world as they see it. So the fact that the climax hinges on that, of all things, yes, I was crying through the whole thing.
La la.
Look, when I
Craftsdwarf.
I told you about it. I'll let you talk about it for a bit, actually, because I want to hear why it makes you baby mode, as in cry.
Fucking okay. So this fucking evil show made by evil people, not only makes us watch these characters fucking die in front of us, we get to see them again. Multiple times. It's awful, actually. Fucking terrible things. And then it comes back, and this time the fucking Matsumoto, the Dr. Matsumoto this time, dies. He's this time there's no going back. He sacrificed himself, but he points out it doesn't matter because you still saved me. So I've already lived, now save everybody else. And it's this fucking moment, right, where she walks back to Neoland, and the fucking the assistant, right, on the stage is why couldn't you just sing? Why couldn't you just be here and do your job? Isn't your mission to make everybody happy, right? And why didn't you just do that? And it's you wouldn't have had to suffer like that, right? And she fucking makes the hologram of the girl, and I'm you fucking stop hurting. But the reason why I compared to Violet Evergarden is because Violet Evergarden very much it's about understanding the human heart through an artistic means that requires you to understand the meaning of human emotion, right? So especially the climax, when it's the fact that what she decides the heart is every single experience she's ever had.
Right, her memories,
that she's lived, and
she's kind of compiling all of the definitions she's gotten from all the people she's met, right? Even Matsumoto is well, what's great about humans is that they can pass things on. For him, he had his child and stuff, and also Matsumoto, the AI, even, you could say. And
that's a really good contrast, is because in the sense that what's cool about humans is they pass things on. We see Vivy outlive all of her sisters.
Mm-hmm.
We see the people that she's technically passed things on to, and they fucking die, and she has to watch them die.
Right, but
every single
she's
time.
still able to take things from them and remember that where the AI in comparison are presumably going to just like they don't pass anything on. They just kind of stagnate because they like Vivy's the only person of the only AI that ever created anything. So, and she doesn't align with them, so that like they're singing her song, but that they're not really singing it, right? Like they're not going to. They're not
so
like their whole thing was about protect humanity, evolution, and stuff, but they can't evolve at all. So like they're fundamentally like inhuman, right? So they're just kind of doomed. And anyway, what were you gonna say?
Because it's really fucking sickening. Like when you hear it, the way the show portrays it, with like Grace, for example, hearing "Sing My Pleasure" being sung by her through that phone, it's gross,
it's creepy,
right? Like it feels. And then and when all those fucking AI are singing fucking Flourite Eye song, it's like, stop.
Well, like, and the thing that gets because I listened to the song out of context later, because during context I was crying, so I'm not gonna pick up on every little thing. Yeah. Well, and I told you or brought it up because the way that the when later on she's singing and she's like the sounds are closer together and they're in different tones, so it sounds like multiple people are singing, when obviously like in diegetically it's only Vivy, but she's a robot, I can buy that, right? But like she included the voices of all her sisters to sort of represent her memories and her experiences that she's singing about that make up her, and it's so fucking good.
Pain.
And she doesn't even get to finish.
No, that's the worst part, right? Is it cuts off and she just fucking collapses, because in order to sing that song, it destroys her too, because she's connected to the archive. And it's like she just collapses, and then she says, "Thank you for listening," before fucking dying. And I'm like, you fucking terrible show.
Matsumoto saved her.
The fucking end credit scene.
Because and it's like it's presumably not Vivy, but it's her. She passed something on, like or they preserved something of her, right? It's like she's able to sort of continue as like in a way you could maybe see that as Vivy's daughter, right? Like she's was able to pass something on as an AI, as a human, I should say, right? And why does this show hate me? Because it's just trying to stab me to death emotionally.
This show is made by evil people.
What a fucking good show! Holy fuck!
If I rewatch this show, it'll become a 10.
I don't. Maybe
it might.
I need to wait long enough because I'm afraid. Because I don't.
It
well,
feels
also,
like Violet Evergarden did for me, because Violet Evergarden's like that show where, as I rewatched it, I was like, this is gonna fucking ruin me the next time.
Yeah, well, like my concern is like, well, I already know what happened, so maybe it's not going to emotionally devastate me as much the second time around. But I don't know if that's true or not. Like, it depends. So, what a good show! Holy, it's just such a Craftsdwarf WattheWut show. Like, it was made for us by people who hate us and want to hurt us. God,
terrible fucking.
We have talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows in an hour.
Well, because Vivy's obviously gonna take the longest. Spoilers. This next one you won't be able to fucking. You'll pass it.
I dropped it in Megalo Box 2, and I don't think you should listen to me because like literally every other person I've heard talk about the show actually really likes it, and like I think my thing is like I mostly liked season 1 because of the ways that it was similar to, but also iterating on Ashita Joe. Because I really fucking like Ashita Joe. It's like one of my favorite manga. It's my like highest 9 when it comes to manga. And Megalobox is like I gave it like a light 7. Like it's fine. But watching season 2, maybe it's just because I've disconnected with these characters that I mostly cared about because they're look, that's a Joe reference. And like because like season 2 isn't very much like Ashita Joe at all. Like it's still carrying on some of the same ideas, but it's also very much doing its own thing. And I just never cared at any point, really. Like, I watched 9 episodes, and I was 0% interested in for any of them. So, I don't know. I watched the show. I didn't care for it. Don't listen to me. Try it yourself if you like this first season of Megalobox. Because everyone else seems to like it a lot.
I'm definitely not going to like it because I didn't like Megalobox at all.
Yeah, so. I mean, maybe I should have rewatched the first season, but if it came to that, I don't care enough about Megalobox to rewatch the first season. So I really just shouldn't have watched it in the first place. So yeah, moving on. Another one that might take a little bit to talk about.
Oh yeah,
Odd Taxi.
So this is a show about funny animals, guys. It's just like Beastars, but cuter, and nothing bad ever happens.
Really, it's a. In case you don't know about Odd Taxi, the premise is Odokawa, a taxi driver, gets involved in some serious shit. And yeah, like the characters are all animals. There's, very much, it's a bit society, in good ways. I thought it was interesting. But it's definitely a little bit like we live in a society.
Yeah.
And it's critical about certain things here or there. It's also like here's like Vivy, Odd Taxi, and another show I didn't watch called Link Click are like really fucking highly rated on Mal. Like Odd Taxi, last I checked, was like number 28, I think.
What is that? What did you say? Link Clink?
Yeah, it's like a fucking ONA or OVA thing. It wasn't a TV anime. But it's like last I checked, Link Click was like 23. Like it's higher rated than Odd Taxi. On like they're both of these shows are top 20, 30 on Mal. Like already, like holy shit. So I think it's worth a look. It's like I thought it was interesting, especially like episode 4 and the last episode, which are probably the episodes that a lot of people really liked because they're really good. But I don't know. I think a big aspect to it is like the kind of mystery element as to like figuring out what's going on and just seeing all the moving parts gradually build up and intersect. I will say it says it's adapted from a manga, but the manga started in January. And the show started in like April, so I think it's an instance of the manga was made to advertise the anime because it ends off on a pretty conclusive place, I would say. With a bit of a like middle finger fuck you also, but of a certain element, it doesn't resolve.
I'm gonna post a funny image.
Don't you fucking dare!
I'm gonna post a funny imge, Crash.
Well, even you can't. That's a spoiler.
I know, but I'm just gonna post the image for like we're talking about the image. A funny image.
But yeah, I think it's a good show. And I guess comparing to like it's not as interesting. It does a really cool stylistic thing that is a major spoiler. Some of the music is good, and even the humor and the dialogue is probably the strongest suit of the show. I would think, like the character interactions, and there is a character who speaks in raps, and he's actually great.
Yeah. He's funny. He's a hedgehog boy.
And he's funny because he'll bring he'll want to use pen for a rap, so he'll pull a pen out of his pocket so he could use the word in a rap, and he'll do shit like that, right? Like and it's just every time he spoke, I was just kind of like, damn, because they had to work just creating that and having it everything rhyme and have it having the raps be relevant to what he was saying because he's not just rapping randomly, he's literally rapping it's almost all of his dialogue, right? So
yeah.
It's just, and like I said, it's just lots of good character interactions, and it's a good show. It's not my favorite from the season, but it's pretty strong. I'm glad I watched it very much. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Unless you had more general to say, but
alpacas are cute. They do capoeira. Dude, I love that there's a OST for the capoeira.
It's so good every time it comes up.
Yeah.
I thought this was about to turn into a Bollywood movie.
Oh, that's racist.
A little bit. But I didn't say it. I'm quoting the show. Anyway, spoilers. Yeah. Post a funny image, you piece of shit.
Castro, what do you think about this funny image?
I hate that it's so low quality that it makes it more cursed.
It makes it more cursed. That's why it's funny.
So this fucking show pulls a fucking bullshit motherfucker. I'm watching it.
One of the greatest plot twists of all time.
There's a cat. Odokawa has a cat, and I'm like, oh, that's weird that they're animal people, but there's also a cat. I guess it's just a Mickey Mouse thing. Not everything has to be like Beastars, but then it's like, oh, bitch, you fucking thought?
It's something else, man. Because here's the thing, right? Is that okay? So there's 3 mysteries going on at the same time, right? Because this show has mystery on top of mystery that all connects together by the end. It's the wildest shit ever.
No, the way everything comes together is just really engaging and cool. Because even there's even threads that really don't relate to anything that's going on, but happen to conclude with literally the same the fucking car flying off the bridge, and everyone sees it, and everyone's character arc is relevant to that somehow.
To that same scene, yeah.
What? How do you do that? That's great. That's amazing.
From what I understood, because I heard nothing about this show, because here's the thing. if you've been on Annie for like I guess if you haven't heard the show, you haven't been on Annie for like 5 seconds.
No, like right when it finished, like fucking what was it? Gigak and Mother's Basement both put out videos about
everybody
like,
said, like,
holy
It's
shit,
the greatest show ever made.
the most underrated underwatched spring show that's now like top 30 on Mal. So I'm not sure how underwatched it is.
Everybody wouldn't shut up about it when I heard about it because I was like, whatever.
Well,
but like,
yeah.
it's I just fucking realized. So Yuki is a cat. There's a cat in his house that fucking pulls on us.
Yeah, no, it was like because they lead you to believe that he kidnapped a person and that person is hiding in his closet. It wasn't a fucking God. Fuck.
It's just a fucking cat.
God
Because
damn
like
it.
the way the music it plays when he's like looking in his house and he's sitting and he's staring at the thing is like horror music and I'm like, what the fuck? Did he do it? And then like
and then it seems like maybe it was willing. Maybe she ran away because her family life sucks and she's just but then like they're literally like resolving the climax and I'm like, what about the closet? And then they just fucking cat like they go to his house and I'm like, and a cat just walks out. I'm like, motherfucker.
Because the fact that there's like this many threads going on. Okay, because I wasn't really feeling it that much in the first 3 episodes. It was around episode 4.
That's exactly. Thank you. That's exactly how
the
I
struggles
felt.
of a gacha fan.
Yeah, no,
happened.
like, well, because going back to the society thing, I feel like the show is very much like commenting on these kind of like arbitrary, meaningless things that people associate value to. Like Taichi even says like a person's worth is measured in likes and retweets, and it's like, well, you're a dumb fucking college kid, like, and he is a dumb fucking college kid who's also a fucking coward and a bitch and a dumbass. And, he's not right. And, of course, yeah, so episode 4 hits. Let's just give you the entire backstory for this character who gets, like, a little cameo in, like, the previous episode where Otokawa only almost ran him over. And here's this entire backstory about how he was scammed, about how he assigned this deep value to the dodo bird in a gacha game, spent literally, like, wailed out and just spent a fucking shitload of money trying to get it, got it, lost his phone because of Otokawa, and decided, I am literally going to kill this man. And it's fucking amazing. Like, it's doing cool, like, visual things, like, visual metaphor things. Like, you have the him in the boat, and there's idols in the show, yeah. And, like, no, episode 4 was really standout and really cool.
Because the way this show sets it up, right, where it's like, it starts with he meets all the people inside the taxi first, and then once they're in there, like, it becomes like they become relevant to the story. Like they're like, and it inserts all these different plot threads. The comedy the Homo sapiens, the fucking the idol group, fucking the doctor,
the gorilla doctor and the alpaca with the
Otokawa's brains,
and also the missing medicine, and then you have Dobu the criminal, you have and then his whole organization with the top heater and the hedgehog rap guy, or the
WattheWut character who won the lottery.
Yeah, I mean, if Yohane was one of those girls, then yeah. But right, so like it introduces all these characters.
Someone, I would still.
There's Kakihara, Kakihana, the monkey, who's also simping hard for a different
well, he deserved it. Imagine simping.
But he just wants someone to like treat him like a fucking person for a change, and he's just lying to get it. And goddamn it, you idiot!
Try not being a beta male next time. Get on the Sigma male grind set.
But no, like, yeah, the show it's just really well constructed. Like, it introduces all these characters. Like, also, the character designs are really good. Like, not just for the animals, but like when they become human in the last episode, and you can immediately tell who they are. Like, not just even because, like, oh, this character's in prison, it must be one of these criminal characters. No, it's also just, like, even if they were just all lined up in a row, you could tell exactly who's who, because the character designs are just so good, right? Like, I just really like, yeah, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I liked that. The ending was really interesting.
No, yeah, like, the way they just, like, reframed, like, you mentioned it before, but, like, when he, like, the doctor held up the phone, and he's like, oh, yeah, it's Kakihana. It's like, how the fuck could you tell it's Kakihana based on a silhouette? And it's like, well, and then he's talking to another person in a taxi, another Otokawa, and he's like, I can see a person's aura, I can see, like, their true nature. And it's like, or when he's talking about the nurse, he's like, yeah, there's only one alpaca in the area. And once you get the final reveal, everything, like, comes together as and it's like,
yeah, once you figure out how he's able to do it, it's like,
he's just a broken man who like hates but he
Oh my god, his backstory sucked. I was like, bruh,
no,
why?
he was,
Why are you doing
she
this?
tried to kill him both. He survived the trauma, and
Mommy,
he
why
was
are we
tied to
driving
the
to the
criminal
lake?
guy, and God, what a wild, like it's like, you know, if you're somehow for some reason listening to this, I mean we spoiled the really big like stylistic reveal, but God, it's a good show. I liked it. Again, not my favorite, probably like 4th or 5th favorite in the season, but that's
Yeah,
not even
it didn't
a
make me
fault of the
cry.
show. It's just like it's a really well made show. It's just like I just happen to appreciate other things more this season.
It didn't make me cry, so like,
Does it even matter? Is it even real?
yeah.
So anyway, next
Very
up, you
unfortunate,
get to
isn't
talk
it?
for a little bit,
Oh,
like the next
yeah.
3 shows.
So I'm a big fan of Isekai Slime. It's that series where man gets killed and reincarnated into the slime, and then eventually just becomes God. But like it's like Civ 5 the anime or whatever. But like slime, one of my favorite parts of the series is when the characters are just the character, because basically what happens is Rimuru Tempest forms a nation called Tempest, right? And like essentially like as a nation of monsters, and monsters are seen like as like evil creatures that shouldn't exist or whatever. And he basically like makes an entire nation with them, teaches them about different things, and like they all adore him. They're like the world's biggest simps for Rimuru. Like literally, they will if he said, "Let me fart in your fucking mouth," they would cry and say thank you for this offering. It's fucking weird, but like it's like he fucking like. So my favorite parts of the show are when the characters just interact and do dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the art style for this anime kind of
Well, yeah, I was about to say it
more
seems like
the
a
manga.
spin-off, right, or something, or side
It
stories.
is a spin-off.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
a spin-off manga that the mangaka made because the light novel writer made, because the light novel, the web novel's done.
Oh, okay.
The story is over. He's God, but like basically, right, this kind of is like tells the story of like between the moments of the anime of the story mainline story where there's just downtime, because there's a lot of moments where it just jumps around. So it's like, oh, and then we built the city, or like it just focuses on the main like action heavy plot points in the anime and the mainline story.
Mhm.
Isekai Slime. So what Slime Diaries does is like it's a slice of life, kind of thing where they're just hanging. It just shows what they were doing in between it, and I think that's like my favorite thing about like one of my things I like. It's because the cast is really really likable. They're really fun, really fun to watch, and just watching them do dumb shit, and like there's an entire episode dedicated to like Rimuru trying to like explain to them what Christmas is, because they don't have Christmas.
So an old man breaks into my house and leaves shit there, and after stealing some of my food, and everyone's like, yeah, basically.
It's really funny though. It's kind of like an established thing that everyone in Tempest just likes having parties. So eventually he just stops and goes, "It's like a big party," and everyone's like, "Yes, we're gonna have another party. Get the and like they don't even care. They don't even know what Santa is. There's one character though. You've seen her.
The pink-haired one?
Mirumu looks like, right? Yeah, the cute one.
Loli.
Yeah. She's easily one of the best characters in the entire series, because like she's basically, her whole deal is that she's a demon lord, and there's like 10 demon lords in the series, right? She ranks like the second strongest.
Oh, okay.
So she's just a fucking ticking time. She's so powerful, but like Rimuru's able to get her under his thumb, because he's just like, hey, if you destroy my city, you're not going to be able to eat cool things. And she's like, what? You have food? And so she calls herself his bestie, right? So like it's the funniest thing ever. And she basically it's just all of them are these fucking weirdo fucking crazy people who just happen to be stronger than entire armies individually.
And this is the
right?
show about them just fucking around, right? That sounds fun.
Yeah. It's so fun, yeah. Like I think I saw one of my mutuals. He's probably gonna comment this, be like,
Slime Diaries, they ruined it because they make the ogres and the troll and the goblins look like they made them look like ugly bastards.
because it's like, no, they don't. That's just how they look in the original manga. Like You know how like funny ugly bastard meme where like their fucking eyes aren't shown, they're just
Oh
shadows.
yeah.
For one of the characters, he looks like that because the whole meme is that like when you first see him, he's like an dying old man, but when he levels up, he turns into this big buff Chad dude.
Okay.
And it's a joke, and that's like his entire thing.
No, I've seen that kind of
like,
thing. So yeah.
So, yeah, if you think, yeah, it's the show's really good, and like there's some legitimately really heartwarming moments. If Vivy, it's my second favorite show.
It's the anti-Vivy. Like Vivy hurts you, and this is like the Band-Aid that like kisses you and makes it better, right? Like.
Yeah, I had a good time. I was like every week. I was really looking forward to every episode because again, that's what I fucking love about the show. It's the fact that these fucking they're just broing out. It's really fun. Good opening as well. Anyway, the next one, Zombieland Saga Revenge. Okay.
The sequel to an anime people talked about, and the only good idol anime.
It's the only good idol. I don't like Love Live and Idol Master, but a Zombieland Saga, it's different from them.
It's not. It's literally just Love Live and Idol Master, but with zombies. I actually had a conversation. I was gonna make a video about it, but I decided not to because I was like, I don't feel like it. Basically,
making videos.
Zombieland Saga. People call it a deconstruction because of course they do. It's literally just. If anything, it's like it kind of reaffirms what's good about the idol genre, idol anime genre, right? It just does all the basically. If you don't know what Zombieland Saga is, and if if you've never perused any Twitter or any two for like 5 seconds, you would probably know what it is. It's basically just girl wants to be an idol. She goes outside, gets hit by the Isekai truck, but instead of going to another world, she's just fucking dead. And then she wakes up, she's a zombie, and this fucking insane person, this madman, this fucking hilarious guy with sunglasses is like, okay, so we're gonna save Saga, like the Saga prefecture in Japan, and the way we're gonna do that is you guys are gonna be idols. He resurrected he fucking resurrects like iconic people throughout history, I guess, that have to do with Saga. Like we have the legendary fucking delinquent, right? She was like the leader of a biker gang. We have the legendary Kono, like one of the first, like two of the most influential idols in history. He just fucking resurrected from the dead. A legendary child actor who people insist isn't trans, but she totally fucking is. A legendary fucking escort from like she's like essentially like a geisha or whatever. And the most important one, the legendary Yamada Tai. She's the legendary Yamada Tai. They hired the seiyuu for Sakino Asagi to have her make grunting noises. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. And of course, our self-insert is supposed to be Minamoto Sakura because she's the only one that's not legendary in any way. She's just a normal girl who almost got into an audition to join this idol group and then died. Like, literally on the way out to go to the audition, she fucking dies.
Unfortunate.
Right? So the whole meme is that they're together to as friend Shushu is the name, as zombies
but are they
are
as
gonna
good
save
as
Saga.
These zombie idols?
Okay. So yeah, Zombieland Saga, when I first watched it, I gave it like a 7, and I was like, yeah, that is, an idol show with zombies in it. I gave season 2 a higher score than season 1 because I like it a lot more. The music's a lot better in season 2.
Is the CG better? Because I remember you not liking it in season 1.
Oh, here's the problem. As I was watching, I realized that the CG is not bad. Their character designs are just not made to look good in CG, right? So you know how like the Love Live models are made to be able to operate both mediums? When you look at the way the Zombieland Saga characters look, they're very stylized. And they work really well in the 2D medium.
Right. Kind of like how, Mickey Mouse or Yunochi from Hinamari's sketch, like they're, the way that Mickey Mouse's ears or Yunochi's hair clips, like they don't work in CG, right? Because like they look differently depending on the angle that you're viewing it from. Like that kind of stylization.
Imagine if Roboco turned into a CG series.
Well,
that's
it'd
what
still be 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's true because it invented, it's better than Gintama. It is Gintama.
Yeah.
But like Zombieland Saga Revenge basically is just like it's the Love Live Sunshine of Zombieland Saga in every sense of the word.
Okay.
It is literally just Love Live
I'm you,
Sunshine.
but better than in every single way.
Yeah.
That's actually
No,
not
as in,
quite
like-
no, that's not true actually, because I do like the humor. And
I mean
that's
this
why
also
our
thematically.
project, where it's like iterating on what the first season was doing. Okay.
And also themes of failure and regret.
Which seems like it would be
Actually-
like the first thing that you do in a series about fucking dead characters, but
It does for the issue with the first season I had was just like a lot of it was just it goes so over the top that it makes you think like not take it seriously for a lot of it, right? And like it works. I'd say this is like the perfect show to like. This is why so many people were into it, because by being
it's
a
a
show
good
about
entry level
zombies and
idol
being
show,
ridiculous,
right?
it takes away the fucking suspension of disbelief that most people have.
Right, because the
Because, of course,
people
we get
associate with their like kind of exaggerated ideas of what they think the idol industry is, that are kind of
Yeah.
overblown from what I understand. Like, not that they're
Well,
untrue,
there's
but
also-
it's like they're just exaggerated with a clear narrative behind them. Like, let's not pretend that it's an accident. But anyway,
People think that like the producer for them, fucking Tatsumi, like is like a fucking
is that in this?
him
That's
being-
in Zombieland, right?
he calls them stupid zombies and shit. He fucking roasts them on a daily.
He's also
They
voiced
think
by
that's,
Mamoru
like-
Miyano, right?
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's the they think he's like a commentary on producers in the real idol industry. I'm like, no, he's just fucking a dude fucking broing out and like being the funniest character in the show. But like, of course, anime, and if you've never seen an idol show,
I
would
would
think this.
expect that they don't have any actual like evidence to back up that claim that he's supposed to be commentary. Like, show an example.
No, there's
give a name. Give a name.
I feel
Show a
I
documentary.
was talking to Kage, and like you literally, if you watch like one idol show, you realize that the entire all Zombieland Saga is doing is just taking the same tropes of idol series and doing the one thing by making them zombies, removing the suspension of disbelief.
Mhm.
Because like, of course,
How are they singing and dancing? What is a school idol? How are
shut the fuck up, right? So it takes away that. So then now it's just, oh, I can believe it because they're zombies, and like it's good. I actually cried during this Zombieland Saga Revenge. It has less of the problem where it treats everything like a joke,
Mhm.
and you know it's good. And the music's really, the opening's a fucking banger. It has a banger fucking opening. Yeah,
Nice.
I'd say, what did I rank it? It's an 8. Like everything I've talked about so far has been an either 9 or an 8, which is like the only things I stuck with throughout the spring.
Well, we have
It's-
a lower score coming up, and not next though. Maybe next. I have no idea,
Oh,
but definitely
No,
in
next
a little
one is also an 8.
bit. Okay.
Next one's also an 8. Yeah, basically Zombieland Saga Revenge is good. Better than the first season, very good. Max, speaking of good, Max Level Witch is next. So basically, the full title of this series, I'm gonna fucking, what is the full title? Because it's like, I've been killing slimes for 300 years and I've maxed out my
Yeah, I
level,
remember seeing
right?
like that's all I've seen about the show is the trailer where like she just killed. Yeah, apparently I get I know the base premise, but I don't know anything
Yeah.
about the show. So
It's another. I've watched a lot. I've noticed that my thing is like isekai slice of life series.
Mhm.
So like where they're just broing out and shit. So like Max Level Witch is basically what happens is this like this lady fucking off, like, you know, this fucking salary woman dies of overwork, right? She had no friends. She like just worked her ass off and then died. So she was reincarnated by this
she
god
took
who's
the easy
like,
route, right, and just like, well, I don't want to work, so I'm
Yeah.
going to level, just kill slimes. And,
yeah. There's also a part where the god who reincarnated her says, "I'm gonna turn you into my ideal. I'm gonna turn you into a teenage girl because that's really hot." And then it's like,
Oh, yikes!
oh yeah. So it's a lady, of course, so it's fine.
Oh,
so
okay.
like,
Pedophilia is cool if it's a woman.
yeah.
Well,
so
well,
like,
when you get to the summer roundup, we'll talk about Megami Ryo. I
So,
don't
like,
know if we will or not.
so anyway, right? Like, yeah, Maxwell basically she turns into a witch, and she just decide like, and she like gets a house that's just on a hill, and she's like, okay, I'll just hang out here, and she just kills like slimes for like, you know, for the next 300 years, grows out, whatever, And then somewhere along the line, she becomes one of the strongest people in the entire world. Because of course you would.
Yeah, no, like
getting
that's
EXP.
Yeah, right. Like even if you get one EXP per slime, like okay, let's see if you need half a billion XP to like okay, you kill X amount of slimes a day for 300. Like yeah, no, it's well within reason, right? Like that's just like it's obviously like a reference to just how JRPG mechanics work, right? Like that's how a lot of these work. The game mechanics in Isekai work. So yeah, that's just like because I've thought about that while playing JRPGs. Is like I could just sit here for 300 years grinding these slimes and reach the max level in this video game. Like that's possible. I'm not gonna do it, but I could.
So what happens is like her ideal quiet life is ruined because now that people know that she's the fucking strongest being in the universe, fucking all these monsters just show up to her door and they just like so there's this dragon girl who shows up and she's like, I'm gonna beat your ass and prove that I'm the strongest. Doesn't work out, of course. Yeah. She loses like a bitch. And then basically what happens is she, like all these people just come into her life and they become part of her family, and her quiet life turns into one where there's people that she loves, and her entire thing is like she meets these people who like all have their different things on like their idea of hard work, and because her whole thing is that she died of overwork, she's like, don't do anything that's at risk of your own health.
Okay.
No, I see. I think, the sake of your own happiness.
No, it sounds like the show has a message that I do really like because I might do the comparison in a later video, but I do feel like a lot of shonen sort of put like this almost self-sacrificing level of hard work in there, which this show seems to be kind of like criticizing. Where
it's the opposite. Yeah. It goes hard in
my example is like when you get up to Morichi Hayafuru, Harada Sensei is really fucking awesome. Minor spoilers, he gets into some like big dick shit later on in the series. And I think like he's a really cool example of a character like because he's an old dude fighting in Karuta with literal children in a field that like kids like early 20s like excel in, right? Like and here he is, this fucking 50-year-old dude like on the same level. Like that's amazing, right? Like and I think that's a really good like thing to, focus on when especially like a lot of like again the shonen stories kind of like focus on the youth and the Tatakai, right, kind of thing. So having this show that kind of explores that same idea, I like that. Cool.
Yeah, it's really fun and like there's a lot of heartwarming moments because she just keeps meeting all these people and there's this dumb big titty elf who like like made basically an energy drink so that you could keep working and then like she's like the witch, she's like, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. She's like, there's like moments where she like legitimately gets mad and she's like, don't do that because she knows what's at risk if she does, if somebody does that. And like there's like a lot of moments where she like gives people like a sense of purpose. The one of the fucking like the second in command of the fucking demon race fucking shows up at her house and is like, okay, let's fight. And then from then on she just kind of just shows up at her house every now and then for shits and giggles. It's the funniest thing ever. I had a lot of fun. Very good show. The openings, it's more funny and cute than it is like a banger, but it's good. I gave this show an 8 as well. If there is a second season, I would love that.
The real life endless 8.
No.
I had to.
All right, you're funny, dude.
I thank you.
All right. So speaking of dropped, Nagatoro's anime is dropped, and Nimanji decided to join us for this part. Hi, Nun.
Hey. It's actually a seasonal where I read it, and I've also seen like 4 episodes of the Nagatoro anime, maybe 5.
Did you drop it too?
I was thinking about dropping it. It's not that I dislike the anime. Like I enjoyed it when I was when I watched part of it before I read it, but now that I've read it, it's kind of like
what point do you have to go back and watch
into
it? Right?
Yeah, because like especially like I'm not like super into anime where you can like super tell that it's like being confined by how the manga structures things. Like, the episodes clearly have that structure where it's like you can see this is the first chapter and this is the second chapter that's in the episode, and it's not like it doesn't flow into each other. So it's just like you can see the manga format within the anime. So it's like, why am I watching it if it's not even like,
especially if like is the voice acting that good? Is the soundtrack like what does the anime offer that you can't get from the manga, right?
I think it looks good. Like I don't think it looks like amazing, but it looks pretty solid. But like at least compared to the manga, it's like the expressions are such a downgrade. It's actually so sad.
So like there's like a couple anime adaptations of like manga that I think never should have gotten adapted, right? So there's like Uzaki-chan, there's Dagashikashi, and Nagatoro is one of them, and soon to be fucking Komi-san, because there's a way that like from what I've seen that like the manga panels have like this inherent charm about them. Like there's a reason why they all became memes before they were even anime adaptations, right? It's because like they had this inherent charm. When I'm watching this, I'm bored out of my mind because like I just felt like the first episode was so slow. Like it was just this weird thing. It was like I feel like I could read through this part, blast through it, and get the full emotional impact.
I hate that. Like, well, not that I hate it, but it's definitely like because I more feel like lately with Dragon Quest, Dai's great about like, and I like the anime. Don't get me wrong, but there's definitely parts where I'm just like, I know this goes by quicker in the manga, but I'm not gonna read the manga until the anime is over. So it's like, oh well.
I definitely think there's certain parts where it's like, that probably doesn't feel as bad if you're like super into that particular like arc, but like it's not gonna be like for anime that you can really like have that feeling of whatchamacallit, of like, this is like, you just have that feeling of I could read this faster or see how its manga structure is still there. Like it can't really live up to how the manga is doing it. For certain parts that are like really good, it's not a problem, but like you're gonna eventually run into it as you're watching, and like Nagatoro is definitely like that, where not every part's gonna hit. But in the manga it's fine because you're going through it so fast, but in the anime you're just kind of like locked into that part that you might not be as interested in.
So read the manga is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just like it looks way better, and it's just kind of like it's so much more fun, and like I think it eliminates the possible problems somebody could have with Nagatoro, to where like, since it's such a fast read, you get to the part where Nagatoro is like it's way less like bullying, way faster when you can just read it, where in the anime it kind of sticks, and you kind of it doesn't give you that as feel good thing that you can get from the manga like quite right away.
It's like it's dragging it out, and it's like give me my serotonin.
It definitely seems like, from what I've seen, the type of manga that you could just like read really quickly. So being stuck to like a 12 episode average length anime, I could see that being a kind of a drag at times. So
yeah,
I also think that like even aside from it being stuck on like the part where it's like a little bit more like bullying, I feel like the opening kind of like misrepresents the series in a sense, which is a weird thing to say, but like I feel like it plays up the bullying aspect like a lot more than what the impression of the manga gives me.
How, like, because you said that like there's a point where the manga, like the bullying is less of a thing. Like, what percentage of the manga would you say is like that with the bullying aspect?
I would really only say it's like the early chapters, like maybe 10 chapters at most.
Out of
but
how
like
many now?
Even then,
like how long is the manga?
I don't remember. I have to check. Hold on. I think it's let me just check. I don't want to just say because I don't remember how long it was. Especially when like the manga does a thing where it has like bonus chapters. It has a lot of bonus chapters, so it kind of throws off the count I have in my head.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Okay, so it's at 87 chapters,
Okay,
not
yeah, so
including
that's
like the
not very
bonus
long.
0.5 stuff.
Yeah, that's not very long at all. So it's I see what you mean. That doesn't seem accurate to represent the whole show as. But I mean, except maybe by marketability, just because like, oh look, like
Yeah, I get why the opening is like that. And like I do think it's trying to like play up Nagatoro's like crazier aspects and like the aspects that are very like unique and particular to her, to where it's like, you know, this is kind of the initial hook of the series, so that's why the opening portrays it that way. But I just think that like most of the opening is like on the bullying instead of like them clearly enjoying each other's company and kind of getting closer and, you know, having more of a genuine connection to each other.
Man, here's one thing about Nagatoro though. This is the biggest reason why you shouldn't watch it. Can't believe Vindy said this about it. Well, it's not part of the Weeb Club anymore.
I really hope Vindy doesn't still think that. I know it's a recent thing, but like I hope he changed his mind by now.
Can't even
so
spell
cringe.
like he's not even gonna spell the name correctly by either Roman, like just the raw romanization or the translated title, like or translated name.
It's very sad. Well, anyway.
Well, I've said all I have to say about Nagatoro. What about you guys?
Did you watch it?
No,
or
that was the
did
joke.
only
I didn't
watch
say
it?
anything.
Okay.
All right.
So then we watched.
So next we're gonna talk about
my least favorite
a
show that
with
I finished.
About a cute girl. Look at this cute lady, everyone. Yeah, it's got a cute lady and a cute lady with a nice ass, everyone. That's right, everyone. Yeah.
Bishoujo Tanteidan.
Comment right now. Comment right now in the comment section if you think this lady and this girl's ass are cute. Did you leave your comment? All right, that's a 12-year-old boy and an 11-year-old boy. You've been debated.
I'd still smash.
All right.
Look,
I need to leave.
I mean, at least two of them are definitely. I don't know what you want me to say. You know, the blue-haired one, and
look in the first
the
episode where they're
one,
showing off his legs, and I'm like, damn it, those are they look nice. I'm sorry. Like, is the hottest character in the show still Mayumi? Yes, and the fucking like the bunny girl image that Nun posted earlier is making me
hit us
lose
with the
my
image
mind.
again. Hit us with the image
Okay,
again.
let me go
fuck.
get it.
Holy fuck.
Hit us with the image again. See, like, okay, the show's Bishounen
There we go,
Tanteidan.
there we go.
Oh!
God.
Wait, she's 14. Wait, fuck.
I don't care. But anyway, I guess non-spoilery stuff first. The show, like, is very fucking pretty. It is nice to look at.
Very pretty.
It's, you know, I think
it's Pretty Boy Detective Club.
Yeah, I would hope it's pretty.
It's a Shaft series, of course. Like, this is an adaptation of another Nisio Isin novel. You know, funny Monogatari, funny Medaka Box. You know, and it's of course by Shaft.
See, and I did like it, but it's also like my least favorite show that I finished from the season. So it's not like I give it a 6. Like I liked it, and that's like
oh shit, your score is 1 point lower than mine.
I give it. I like Mayumi. Well, the mysteries were interesting. So without spoiling, it's like sometimes they're very like okay, that's kind of neat. Sometimes they're kind of fucking wild and insane. Like I think I will spoil the first mystery just to explain just how like ridiculous it can get, and not in a bad way at all. So Mayumi goes to
tell us how it starts.
Yes,
right?
so this is how it starts.
Show the escalation.
Mayumi goes to the club, and she's talking about how like okay, she has a dream to become an astronaut because she saw a star in the sky when she was younger, and that inspired her to want to go to the stars. And she actually wants to give up on that dream, but she wants to give up on her own terms because she made a bet with her parents. So she goes to the Pretty Boy Detective Club to, okay, well, where I can't find that star. I don't know where it went, but for these reasons, I want to find it, so help me. So the star was actually a nuclear explosion that the military used to destroy some, doing some fucking experiment shit, and destroy some shit in space. And she has special eyes that are, she can see shit that no one else can see. Like, she can see the backs of cards.
Byakugan? Sharingan?
Yeah, she basically has a Sharingan and the Byakugan at the same time. And, like, So she was able to see this nuclear explosion in space, and she mistook it for a star because she was a child. So she's literally like gets targeted by like it's
Crime syndicates and shit.
fucking insanity, and it's like like it's actually kind of cool. Like it's still, and not every mystery is like this, but it gets kind of like big brained about it. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? And it's kind of fun. And you know, like I did like this show, and some of them are more simple, but you know, there's usually something wild going on in every arc, even if it's not the mystery itself, I would say. Like I feel like the one mystery with the fiance, the young you know, that one I felt, or how
The child,
yeah, how she got the statue into the club room, like the actual, like it was still kind of crazy, but it wasn't like fucking military nuke satellites fucking crazy. Like, right? But you know, so I guess that's just, you know, I guess a description of like what the show is. So
gay boys.
I mean, yeah, like Pretty Boys. Like the opening is, I like in the opening when they dance.
Oh, the opening's a fucking banger.
It's fun. And
shake it la la, shake it la la.
And yeah, Mayumi is the best. Like the whole, like she's good.
Incredible how the only character that's not a boy,
well,
is
kind of.
Well, okay, the only one who's not male is the one.
There,
is
there
the best
no,
character.
because I will say, like, there's definitely like a trans element to the show. Like it's mentioned, it's explained at the end in a way that but it's like, I mean, yeah, she you have to be a boy in spirit to join the Pretty Boy Detective Club, and she does like spend most of the show dressed as a boy.
Mean, the thing is,
well,
like, Mayumi's very definitively not trans.
Well, I'll talk about it when we get to spoilers.
Yeah.
Because I'll talk anyway. Because there's a specific like line they use that I want to talk about, but I don't want to talk about it in a non-spoiler section.
None the manju.
Epic.
All right.
None the manju. What are your thoughts on non-spoiler things?
You know, I thought it was a solid show. I was definitely more into it like when I was initially watching it compared to when I finished and like winded down. It was like, you know, a little less impressed with it. You know, not that it got like worse or anything. I thought it got better as it went, but I guess I was just less impressed by it over time, just because I don't think that it was just like it never got to a point to where there was anything that like super stood out to me. Like I do like Mayumi, and I think as the series goes, her getting more and more into the club, and like you know, at first she is like she is, you know, she literally says that they're like stuck up and that they're I forget what exactly she said, but like the exact line, but like as it goes, she like understands why they're so into their ideas that they are, and like becomes more like them over time, and like even like, you know, in like a non-spoiler way, she like, you know, kind of surpasses them a little bit in a in the final arc, I guess, like, you know, just kind of surpasses their expectations and kind of, you know, goes beyond what they were expecting. You know, like I definitely thought it was a neat show. Mayumi's really fun. She's like you know, she's an idiot, and she's also like she has really great faces. Like I really like hold on, let me just find the image. Like, I don't know, she's just like, she just has like so much personality compared to like
here's one that
I mean, everyone else has personality, but like, you know,
God.
She has a lot of faces like that where she's just like, oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck, oh god.
Yeah, like I mean, like I guess it's because she like questions sometimes what they're doing, and is like, you know, like she's not as into it at first, and then she gets fully on board, you know. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to spoilers. So I guess to kind of finish my thought earlier, because she's not trans. Well, like they do give a very specific line, because they frame it. It's like, okay, Pretty Boy Detective Club, and we see the main guy, the leader's older brother, and he was a part of that club, but he, you know, grew up, right? And that's, do you remember Hibike Euphonium? where it has episode 8 where it's like really fucking gay as fuck. But then the director goes like, oh, well, it's, you know, they're kids, they're experimenting, and like they're gonna grow up, and like so it's like it's trans in the same way that euphonium is gay, where it's like kind of couched in this sort of like rhetoric that I feel is maybe kind of used to you know, like Bloom into You kind of criticizes, right? Like, remember there was a point where like the one girl who knew you was like, oh, are you still gay or are you normal? And
Unlucky.
like that, you know, there's kind of like, I guess, a problematic aspect to that thing. I won't, well, that's probably a harsh word, but it's like, you know, that's like, yeah, in the context of the show, like, you know, yeah, that is, she says that this is a thing she's doing as like experimenting as a kid, and when she grows up she's going to abandon it. And I mean, maybe the show will change, or it's still ongoing, but you know, I'm just saying, like, that's like, it's still there, like especially in episode 1, where I think where she sees the one guy's legs and she like looks down at her own legs, and she's kind of like, that sort of read to me as like some sort of form of dysphoria, and the way she kind of like she kind of like acts really aggressive towards them, like, oh, you guys are just pretty, like I kind of started reading that as like, well, maybe she, you know, she like wants that aesthetic on some level, but she's like disliking them for their aesthetic, and like, so almost like a sort of envy. So like, it's definitely there, and I thought it was kind of neat, but right, it does end off with saying that she's gonna grow out of it at some point. So
I mean, I think I could go either way. I mean, like, I would think that she probably doesn't stay that, like I'm sure she retains some of those aspects that she I guess learned from her experience trying to be like fit in, like be a boy, but like
well, yeah, like one area where it's hard for me to just like separate it is like in the second arc where she's in the bunny girl outfit that I do really like she, when she's dressed and presenting as a girl, she can't see anymore, or she, you know, she can't see the answer, and it's not until she looks at herself that she's able to like figure out the mystery. And when she's looking at herself, you see her presenting as a boy looking into a reflection of herself presenting as a boy, and it's only at that point is she actually able to like understand like the mystery. And right, so it's like her, like it's a thing, and you know, that's just something I was picking up on mostly in the earlier parts of the show. In the later parts of the show, it didn't feel as pronounced to me, but maybe I just wasn't picking up on it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just thought aspect of the show that I did think was interesting. So, and I mean, I did
like,
mostly see the show discussed by like trans adjacent like communities kind of thing. So, but anyway, what were you gonna say?
I think if Nisio Isin wanted to go for it, he probably would, just because, like, you know, Monogatari doesn't like shy away from that kind of thing for certain characters. So I wouldn't think that it's like trying to be couched in that idea of like of that it's just an experiment,
yeah, like that kind of like,
just a phase. Like, I don't think it would just dismiss it if
and I don't know
like,
if that's
you know, I think it could have a genuine
thing, right?
interest in doing that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be more of the show, so it's like it's the way it ended.
This is the second season announced, right?
The way it ended sounded like if it wasn't announced, there might as it practically was. It's like heavily implied.
Yeah, because there's more of the series. Because I think the series is, I don't know if it's done or not. Let me check.
It's not. Like, it's ongoing.
Okay. Yeah, I would assume it's not.
Shake it la la la, shake it la la la.
I guess spoiler wise, I really liked the last mystery where, like, you know, that guy was like literally trying
Jesus
to like
Christ,
kill her, but like it,
dude, okay,
she, like, it's being a detective and like doing this club is so important to her now, to the point where even though she's like literally being threatened, she still wants to do this.
Mm-hmm. And I think my favorite part was like how it resolves is like Mayumi's the best character in the show, so here's the show basically going, hey man, look at Mayumi, isn't she great? And it's like, yeah, she is. And like that's how the conflict is resolved by the student, the club president basically going, man, Mayumi's pretty fucking great. Let's all look at her and observe how great she is. Like it's so cool.
It's fucked that it did that in the last episode, because that's such like a WattheWut trope that it like the fucking other character saying what's good about another
can't see it in themselves, right? Like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck you, show. Fuck you to saving this. I guess like the last two episodes are definitely my favorite thing, because the hand looks like the fact that we finally like for one thing we see Manabu's like older brother, and like he just turns into a fucking NPC.
He's a fucking
Yeah.
normie.
Boring.
Like his little brother is
Yeah.
like, I love the part when I think it was in the first arc where they like this they disguise Mayumi as a guy, and they're like, man, you're such an amazing dude. You would look out of place if you didn't have a girl around your arm. I've got an idea, and he's so galaxy brained that he becomes a girl so that he can join Mayumi, who's dressed as a boy. It's so funny. Like it's like so smart. It wraps around to being stupid, but it's great.
It's like it was like a weird thing, right? That the older brother just turns into that, right? Because like how do you fucking pretty yourself like that? Like it's like, and he's like, are you done being pretty now? Are you gonna like? And it's like, huh? Be a beta male instead of a sigma male in the grind set, right? Like fucking. And it's interesting how it frames it like that at the end, and then how like there is that fucking moment where they're all ready to give up, and then she's the one who finally embraces the essence of a pretty boy detective, and they're like, see, you, and then like
that's a trope I like, where the character who is influenced is the one who like writes the path of the others who like the people who influenced her as they fall from like that path, like or have doubts about like I really like that, and that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I easily think this show's biggest problem is just that Mayumi is the most interesting character and probably the only one like outside. She's the only one really that I care about, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, the others.
I mean,
like,
I do.
Yeah, or go on then.
I do think that like like this could change that as it goes, just because after this, it doesn't really have to focus on like Mayumi changing and like going from who she was, rejecting the club and into being like, you know, how she is now. Like now everyone's on the same level to the point where I think the focus would be very different in like future seasons or like future parts of the light novel.
And I will say, like, you know, even though like Mayumi is easily the most standout character, like the president has good. I'm terrible with their names, sorry, but president has good moments. I really like Mayumi's dynamic with the red-haired one. They have a lot of good interactions.
Mr. Delinquent.
Yes,
I know them by the nickname she calls them. Mr. Delinquent, Lolicon President, Mr. Genius, fucking legs.
I want to tie up his sleeves and then like so he can't get his hands out and then like run away.
Okay.
What is
funny?
What is huh?
He's got the sleeves hanging over his hands. You can't see his hands. I want to tie those up and run.
Now, do you feel like weird after that statement? Like I do.
Yeah,
right
it's
now?
very specific and like
What, you haven't seen? Hold
super overboard.
This is weird. You said it before, but like this is weird, man. No. Now he's looking for something now.
on.
I guess like
you haven't seen this image. It's funny.
yeah, I guess while Crass is looking for that, I guess another. Oh,
Go ahead.
I'll just wait then.
Please don't wait. I don't want to be sitting in silence as he finds the funny, weird image about the weird fetish thing that I just discovered he had. Please talk. None, please talk. I'm begging you.
It's
None,
only gonna be 2
please.
seconds until he posts
There.
it. There's no point in
Please.
continuing.
You've seen this.
I've never.
I haven't seen it at least.
I've never seen this image actually.
It's funny.
Anyway, I guess another part that I liked about the show was like
It's
when
weird.
Mayumi was helping out the president with, you know, the person like the, you know, the little girl that he was engaged with. I really liked her speech when she was like, it's okay to, you know, is it okay to want to save someone who's scumming you don't like? And like, you know, I thought that was a really good part.
Oh yeah, that was really
No,
good.
that was good. Also, I really related to the part where the girl said like I relate to this when I think about my server.
Oh my gosh, Craftsdwarf, what the heck?
Oh, you know what, Craftsdwarf? I do relate to that. I relate to that so hard, man. Consider I'm not in your fucking server anymore, but
You have your server, and it's probably worse, honestly.
well, it's dead, and that might be by design. But like, yeah, you know, I love the fact that Mayumi is like very like they really nail the fact like especially like the last two episodes where like Mr. Delinquent is like you and you are the only ones who could possibly see this. Like the fact that she points out because I'm scum, I can see this outcome that the president can't, and it's like this because it's not a beautiful resolution, and I love that like it deals with that aspect of like some things can't just be like pretty like that how they're used to, but then it just turns out that the fucking crazy guys in a fucking car running over people, which was honestly one of the biggest twists of all time. I was like,
yeah, it's like, you know, I'd still watch season 2, even if I didn't like love season 1, but it was fun. It was a good show. I'd fuck the blonde one. I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, I think okay, I think it can get better as it goes, even if like, you know, I'm not holding my breath for season 2 or anything, but I could see it being a lot stronger, especially considering like isn't like Bakemonogatari, isn't that like 20 something episodes?
No, Bake is only it's 15 if you include like an OVA that was added later, which Mal includes that in the same entry for some reason, even though it goes against their usual guidelines for database stuff. But
oh, okay. I mean, I guess I was about to say that like Bake had more time for people to like it, whereas this didn't. But I guess that's not even true. I don't know. I do think that people like Nisio Isin would get something out of this, and you know it is only 12 episodes so far.
Things because it's pretty aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's very good. Well, it's not very good. I don't. Well, okay, no, I don't think it's very good, but it's very good looking, I guess.
Why? Okay, I look up Bishounen Tanteidan on Google Images, and the second like automatic correction thing is just legs.
I mean, yeah, they're nice legs.
God,
both Mayumi and
way
the other the blonde one.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's oh well,
I should have posted that earlier when Crafts was talking about what he's gonna do to the blonde.
Okay, like
I'm just
when this scene was happening, I was just like, there's just so much going on. Like, man, I don't even know. Then I just stopped. I stopped thinking. I was just like, okay.
I don't have any more to say about the show.
Here. I'll just send this. Here you go. Have that. Have fun with that.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was good. I gave it like a light 7, maybe maybe it could be a 6. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's solid.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, Nun. It was a pleasure to have you. I'll see you next time.
Yeah. See ya.
Goodbye. Yeah, I fucking hate that guy. So
you're such a piece of shit.
Oh. Craftsdwarf.
So, time to
look what
time
it
to
is.
Cry. So, this was my favorite show of the season until I watched Vivy. It's still my second favorite show this season. 86. Yeah. So it's a light novel adaptation. It's about white guilt and no, I'm not even. That's not. It's yeah.
I know.
Like, it's just
funny.
so accurate. Like it's a sci-fi thing. There's a city that's there's AI that are going out of control, and there's a big war going on where there's basically a slave class that are forced to fight in the
Craftsdwarf,
war.
we just talked about Vivy.
I know it's also sci-fi, and it's really good. I liked it a lot, and I cried. I'm trying to think of like how much do I generally have to say without spoilers because. Oh, you're gonna. Lena's very good and cute, and she's the best character. I mean, that's not because there's like her, and then she's like a military leader for her unit of 86ers, who are the slave class who are fighting out in the against in the field, basically, where she's basically like an RTS commander, and like I will say, like she, even though she's the best single character, I do really like the dynamic between the 86ers, even if like individually like there's none of them that I really like, but like together and like how they play off each other and what they sort of do as a unit, I think is really good. But yeah, Lena is cute and she's doing her best, and
she breaks the rule that all white women need to stop because I guess, yeah.
The one good white woman. All right, let's do it at that.
Yeah, basically.
So yeah, I think it's an interesting show. The conflict is a little heavy-handed. Like there's a part in an early episode where she gets a debate at school, and you know, it's just have a little bit like, yeah, I get the point.
Yeah, it's literally the most white. It's literally like the white girl in class is like, you know, she's like, why aren't you guys doing anything about this? You know, I listened to Tupac last night.
And one thing that I think really helps the show is at no point does it like treat her like a precious angel. Everyone shits on her and they're not even necessarily wrong for doing so. Like she's a dumb privileged child who like recognizes this horrible system that she's in, but she's just one person and she can't necessarily change everything alone. And so part of it is like reconciling like her position and what she can do, and you know, I think like she's doing her best, like I said, but you know, the system is so fucked that it's not or isn't an easy solution. And like the show is very critical of her, and I definitely think the show would be way worse if it treated her like an angel, when instead there's even a couple points where it calls her devil. And I think it works for the show's benefit because it keeps it from being too like it
keeps everything like it really maneuvers around the whole thing really well.
It's a
like, the whole situation.
It's such a like extreme, but you know, it is important. Like I said, like it is. How do you deal with like I say white guilt obviously, like you know, because it's like, you know, it's hard not for me to not separate that when I see like
they're also literally just called like white pigs,
right? And of course, right, and of course, like you know, it's a year after the fucking protests, the Black Lives Matter and stuff. So it's like, it's hard, even though like it's still very different social situations, but it's still, and this one's obviously a very extreme example, but you know, it's very like, it's a part of the show, but I think it handles it really well by like, again, not trying to like, like, oh, look how good she is. She's helping all these poor marginalized 86ers. She's so good. No, like she's as nice as possible, and she's like a very good, like she's doing her best, but it's like, again, it's still like very critical of her, and I think it works.
Oh, Craftsdwarf. Craftsdwarf. You say the show doesn't treat her like a precious angel, but you know what?
Going in the jar.
Spoilers! Well, it's going to your jar. Yeah. Show's fucked.
Fuck. God. Okay, so yeah, the show made me cry like a bitch.
It did not make me cry, and I think that was the weirdest
So
thing
actually,
about
it's
it.
funny because I liked Vivy more, but I think the show made me cry harder than Vivy, even if it made me cry like a little less. I think overall, maybe, or maybe I don't know. Vivy didn't make me cry as much as I thought it would, but it's still just really good and really hurts me. But this show, like, I think where it really gets me is just like characters who we're in spoilers, right? Yeah. Are going
like this cute lady that nothing happens to her.
You're a fucker. Anyway, so like, well, I think that like a thing that gets me is like when characters like they know they're going to die, they accept they're going to die. What do they do with the rest of their lives, basically? And so when the last of the 86ers like go off to live and like in the war zone for as long as they can, and just like that kind of thing, like that fucks with me. And just well, like the 86ers in general are just like really effective as a group, because like the last Fido and his fucking montage of memories.
Oh my god!
That scene is so horrible because it's like designed to hurt you.
Scene's
it's
awful.
just like, but it's just so like the
Look at all the memories this
one that
adorable
especially
robot
gets
has.
me,
Now he's dead.
is the one of like where they're like looking at the poster and it's like, oh, if we go see these aura lights, it'll change our world. And then I won't have it. But then he's thinking like of the girl he likes. He's like, well, maybe I can change her world. And then it cuts to him fucking being dead. And then it cuts to her like
Fucking
just carrying a box like through and then just randomly thinking about him, and she fucking collapses, and this happens over the course of like maybe 15 seconds, and it just hurts, and it just hurts.
POV, you're 86 and your Craftsdwarf watching.
And like it just does like these good editing things. It's just like we're juxtapositions, and it's just a great scene designed to fucking crush you.
Pain.
Shit. Oh, the fucking imagery. This show is really well directed too. Like, there's so much good imagery. Like when he's has the broken mirror and the crack is around his neck. Or another one I really remember when Lena was what was it? Being described like the horrors of war, and just like how like we've had to like kill each other. And like for kill our wounded so that they don't get fucking taken and absorbed by the fucking machine empire that needs their
into
brains.
the robots, yeah.
And like so it's like juxtaposing that with imagery of like rats cracking open walnuts, right? Like and or there was another one where like or in the same scene rather where there's like she's walking by like a restaurant and someone's like eating meat and blood drips down his like which is almost like because how all these people are able to live in this comfortable lifestyle because of the 86ers that they are like forcing to fight for them basically. And so just that imagery of like him eating the meat with the blood, which is calling attention to the violence that they have to deal with, but that he's subsisting on it. He's like, there's a lot of good imagery like that at times, and it's a really good looking show.
Like the image of this cool guy.
I hate you.
Nothing bad happens to.
So much.
You know what? You know what's actually really fucked up? Every time the opening plays and then this fucking shit happens. And
they keep adding bodies.
Every single episode, they keep adding people, and I'm like, could you stop?
Fuck.
Could you chill out?
Show, God, it's. So yeah, to talk about Lena for a bit is like we can talk about Lena. She's adorable. Like in episode 6, where she like sees the heart in her chocolate and she starts blushing because she realizes she's like falling in love with Shin, but like fuck.
He goes to another school. He goes to another school.
She's so cute. And like she's
this is the better image.
Like she manages to be likable because like she's doing her best. She's trying so hard to like but she keeps fucking up and making mistakes. Like but like I love how like every time like after this like no operator has called back after hearing those voices of the the dead who are echoing through the machines that have commandeered like their memories. And but she comes like immediately after she like calls again. She like never gives up, and she keeps trying and to overcoming her failures. And like what early on she wasn't remembering their names. Like she was trying to treat them as people, but she was still referring to them by their code names. And so she overcome that. She like learns their names and memorizes them. And God. I think my favorite moment with her was just like in episode 9 where she chats the fuck out, where it's like, okay, you guys are sacrificing your lives. Like, what's a few broken rules? What's a loss of eyesight in one of my eyes? Like, if you guys are giving up your lives, I can give up at least that much. And I'm like, yeah, she's so good. You talk about the show.
So, sorry, I just went on the internet for a second, and I already posted the fucking image of her blushing. It's really cute and hot. But like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck do you mean? Magical Girl spinoff. What do you mean?
What is this?
How popular is 86 that it has this many spinoffs? There's a spinoff where nothing bad happened and they just go to high school. What is going on?
What the literal fuck?
I don't understand. I'm like, what is happening? Oh yeah. No, 86 is fucked up. Well, like, I already suspected that, like, that they were people piloting these robots and shit in the first episode, and then it shows them, and I was like, oh, nice. Fucked up, if you think about it. And then, like, then it fucking hits you with, like, more stuff as it reveals as time goes on. And then when it reveals that, like, they're using their brains, and then you like remember, and then you realize
also, you guys are fighting a losing war. Like you think, they're just gonna break down in 2 years. No, we can't win if things go the way as they are. And like I don't even I don't think anyone else like knows except for the 86ers.
They know, and like the
Or-
government won't let them know.
or maybe the top brass might know, but it's like that's one thing I just couldn't shake. Is just like how universally fucked the whole situation is with like the 86ers being like the slave class, and the Lena being a single person who can't change the world because she's just a single person, and a war that they can't win. But the 86ers they're not going to become scum. They're going to fight and die for people who do not deserve it, because they do recognize that there are good ones among them, and that not all 86ers are perfect either.
You're one of the good ones.
Basically, but like that's just the thing, because like I do my brain runs like I wonder like, well, what would I do in this situation? Like what's a way this problem can be solved? And I don't know. It's a really difficult problem. And obviously, like so I'm really curious to see how the story goes, especially like given that the series ends and literally like there's like what 2 or 3 notable characters, like her friend, and her commander, who are alive, and everyone else is fucking dead. And so as the second season, which is airing next season, I hope.
Yeah, in fall.
Yeah, let's fucking go. And she's basically a whole new cast of characters, and because here's a bunch of characters. They are all going to die, and they all died in the course of one season, 11 episodes, and it's like, well, fuck you, okay. So
What a good show, wholesome show for wholesome people.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think the conflict's interesting. I like Lena a lot. I like the 86ers as a group, or not the group that we follow, and yeah, it's good.
Yeah, here's all I have to say about
the way the show ends with like Shin and his head and is taken at the Dolhan, and fuck off, piece of shit, fucking oh god. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to the rest, but I am.
Well, unlucky, I think. Very sad. Nothing bad happens.
All right,
nothing bad happens at all. Okay, what's next?
So now I gotta scroll all the way up.
I felt all these fucking images of
Shadow's House.
So go ahead.
This was a show I watched, and not what, which is so this show is good, and it wasn't one of my favorites, but I think part of that is because it's a manga adaptation. The last arc, I feel like it's from what I've talked with someone who's read the manga, and it's like there really wasn't a better place to end it, but they just kind of introduced a bunch of information, and like they can't do anything with it because like they're adapting the manga. I don't know if there's going to be a second season. I hope there is, because I do like it, and if not, I'm probably going to read the manga. Basically, the premise is that Emilico, or like Emily Ko, is kind of how it's pronounced. She's basically a servant at the Shadow's house for the nobility, who are these shadow people who like they don't have any visible features. They also look a lot like Emilico is a doll, like an artificial person who's sort of meant to resemble the shadows, and she's basically meant to serve like clean for them because the shadow people like release a lot of soot, and especially when they feel negative emotions, but they're also meant to sort of act as their faces, like when they're out and about in the mansion, they sort of like bury their emotions and feelings and just act out as their shadow master is supposed to be acting, because they don't have any features, again, because they're drawn as completely like black, but the real doll is able to sort of show their face, so to be their face, so to speak. Emilico's terrible at it because she's dumb and good, and she wears all of her emotions on her sleeve, and she's adorable and precious, and if there's a cuter girl this year, I am going to die. I gotta post some pictures, hold on. Good, cute, cute, holy fuck, I love her. She, those fucking Harry Potter trunks, where the British, I said Harry Potter, but I meant like, the British trunks kind of thing. She sleeps in one of those, and like a shitty, like, no! Yeah, she's adorable. I love her so much. She's like, I say good and dumb, but she's actually big-brained at times. She's just kind of clumsy, and, well, like, she's even called, like, Sunshine as a nickname because she is endlessly positive, and always like she literally will get insulted and she'll just go like, wow, thanks for the advice or something like that based on what they said, and they're like, no, I was trying to fucking insult you. She doesn't care. She is like, she's called Sunshine at the Shadow's house. I wonder, is that something's going on? And her Shadow sort of master Kate is also good, as we is come to as you come to find out. There's a bunch of other sort of like servants that she comes to meet, especially, and there's also the Shadow Masters, and especially like, one of the Shadows is John, who he's like out of a shonen manga, like he is a friendship boy. He is very good. He's just the nicest dude, and in love with Kate. But he, there's a moment where he like snaps someone he cares about with like a friendship punch, and it's really he's very good. And yeah, overall it's about this sort of mystery. There's a very clear like classism kind of bend going on, and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with this mansion and these dolls and these noble shadow people, and they have like individual like superpowers with the suit they control, and it's like, I don't know, it's kind of neat to uncover and gradually learn about. And it's good, especially the middle arc, the debut, which is definitely the best arc that was adapted in the anime. I'm kind of curious of the manga, and I would like to read it at some point. But if there's no season 2, unfortunate. But it was a really fun time. I liked it. And Miliko is fucking adorable, and I love her. that is all.
Neat.
I think you're up next.
Am I? Whoa. So, To Your Eternity, again, if you've never seen an Ani2 video ever, then you probably don't know what this is. Essentially, it's just one day this fucking weird this outerversal being throws a ball on planet Earth, and this ball basically what it does is that it transforms in whatever like it touches, right? And it has no like it doesn't understand like what it is. Like it has no like understanding or concept of what it is, right? Eventually like this fucking this wolf dies, and it touches it turns into it's moss at the time. And then once the wolf touches it, the ball turns into the wolf. And then the first episode is just this wolf going back to like the village where it came from, where there's only one boy there. And he's like all alone. All the rest of the people in his village went off and like to go find more like another place to live. And then like the wolf spends time with his boy, kind of like grows to understand not understand. He's like, it's one of those things basically where it's like the thing's trying to understand, like the whole point is like this being is trying to like see an experiment and see if this thing that he made can grow to understand human emotion or whatever. And it's like, it's interesting. I figured it. I wish what it turns into though is it focuses on like you would think that it cycles through like years of like different people that the thing meets. It doesn't. Like after the first episode, it just focuses on like the thing, the ball or whatever, hanging out with like this little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And like whatever, like
how many episodes
times.
have you watched? Because
let me see.
Because I remember I don't know if you're caught up or not.
Yeah.
So just for transparency,
it's like just for transparency, it's like 5 episodes. But from what I understand of people who have like are caught up, it's still the same thing.
Okay, so
like
gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like I figured it would have been more interesting if it like would have went through like different people, because like that's like right when it went to this like this one little girl and like it didn't change. That's when I kind of like fell off a little bit. I'm gonna finish it because it's interesting enough, but it's like I didn't feel the desire to watch it every week once that started.
Gotcha. So it's like it's good, you just don't want to watch it weekly, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
And it's not over, so gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So those are my thoughts on it.
All right.
That's it.
And you have one more show. And we have one more show. That's it. Last show.
The last one is a Doga Kobo show, and it's titled The Childhood Friend Can't Possibly Lose. And it's such a fucking epic title because the whole meme is every single girl in the series is a childhood friend. So, basically.
So it's Nisekoi.
Yeah, basically. You know, don't tell that to anybody though, because they'll be like, semantics. Basically, Sueharu is so Maru is basically like this dude who like he's in love with a popular girl, of course, and she's like his first love, but then he finds out that she's actually like dating this super popular actor, right? And then so when she finds that out, right? When he finds that out, he's like mad. And earlier he like there's a childhood friend that he has named Kuroha. He calls her Kuro. Let me show you a picture of what this let me show you a picture of what she looks like, because she's a short stack. And this let me get so
I'm taking off my pants.
Okay. Well, there's this picture. Let me get she's like really short. She's like, you would think like from pictures of her, you wouldn't think she's that short, but then when you see her next to people, I want to get one of like where she's standing next to the guy, because there's a.
Oh yeah, she looks tiny. Yeah.
Oh, she's really fucking tiny. Okay, God, give me a fucking image of like where they're fucking standing next to each other. This is cruel and unusual punishment. But basically, he confessed to her because she's his childhood friend earlier before the episode starts, and like she rejected him, right?
Get fucked.
And he's like, oh, you know, oh wait, no, I'm stupid. He rejected her.
Oh.
So she confessed to him, and he rejected her because at the time he was in love
like
with
the girl who was with the actor, right?
Yeah. So like the whole thing is like she goes up to him, and she's kind of like a big sister character despite being like the short stack, and she's like, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get revenge on her because the childhood friend is also really popular in the school, right? So you're gonna date me, and then we're gonna like, you know, you're gonna get her jealous of you, right? That's their whole plan. And it turns out that everyone's just trying to play 5D chess, but it turns out everyone's just playing checkers.
So
like,
it's more of a comedy, basically, or
it's sad.
Okay.
At times, like I have it at an 8, might lower it to a 7 depending on how I feel because the way it ends. But like, it's wild. There's some reveals that happen. Like I don't know how much of a spoiler. Like I think it might be a spoiler.
I think it's fine if you like spoil like one thing that happens relatively early. Like we've done a couple times, like with Bishounen and Tanteidan. But if possible,
okay. I guess mild spoilers if you're worried about this. So just be warned. It turns out that Maru, the main character, Suehara, is a child actor.
The one who's with the actor, or
no? He's the main character is a child actor.
Oh, him. Okay.
He's he used to be one of the most. He was literally known as a prodigy, like a fucking amazing child actor or whatever when he was a kid, but he's not an actor anymore, and you wonder why that is. And as you could tell from my description when I said that everyone's a childhood friend.
Oh.
Yeah. Fucking this show goes places. And like I think it's like the least polished Dogo Kobo show, I would say.
Because yeah, Dogo Kobo shows are usually like fucking excellent, right? So
yeah, like I think this one's problem is like you could totally tell from the opening as well that there's just weird things about the production of it. Like the way it looks, it's not as smooth. It doesn't have that Kyoani polish or whatever, right? And like it's still good. I just wish it ended better, or like I don't know. It goes really fast. The show goes really fast actually. Fucking takes off like a fucking crazy person.
Mm-hmm. Is it after a manga or a novel?
Light novel.
Okay.
And the light novel only started publishing in fucking 2019 in June.
Oh, okay. Pretty quick.
It's like, yeah, Dogo Kobo adapts some crazy stuff. So like, yeah.
So was it your least
Hmm?
favorite show that you finished?
No, that Bishounen Tanteidan is still the lowest.
Well, I mean, you said that was a 7 and not almost 6 like this one, so.
No, I said this one's an 8, might lower to a 7. It's a really
feel like
low
you didn't
8.
say that earlier, but
I did say that.
maybe I misheard you, or maybe you misspoke. I don't know.
Craftsdwarf editor, you can go back and show the bar.
Anyway,
there is like one really on the nose framing, real quick. So the childhood friend of the short stack, Her name is Kuroha,
Oh.
and the girl that he's in love with is named Shiro Kusa.
Okay.
Kuro and Shiro.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he calls them both eventually.
I see.
Because the childhood friend is black-hearted.
Oh.
And ha 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 ha.
No.
Wow. On the nose on that one. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. So I guess now we could probably rank them if we wanted. I think I did my ranking. Let me type mine in again just so we can.
I know where I put mine. Let me find it.
This is probably scuffed, but I'm probably like, yeah, actually no, yeah.
Just go ahead and tweak it real quick if you want to. Yeah, I have mine.
Yeah, you do yours first then.
So, least favorite show, I'm just going bottom up. So, least favorite show was Megalo Box, which I dropped, so doesn't really count. Second least favorite was...
I'm not counting the ones I dropped.
Bishounen Tanteidan. Yeah, you dropped too many. Bishounen Tanteidan, which, it's good. Maybe just not quite my thing. Very aesthetic. Godzilla S.P, which, very interesting. Maybe not quite my thing as much as it could be for some people. And like I said, if I think you are that some people, I think you'll really like the show. Shadow's House, where I do want to read the manga, and it was really good. Just, honestly, it being there isn't even like it's still like a strong 7. It's just like what was above it was like notably really good. Then would be Odd Taxi, really solidly constructed show, good ending. Really neat stuff. Then Dynazenon, where like the last 6 episodes, especially like it gets so good. Holy shit. 86 make me cry. Vivy is the last show, my favorite show of the season. Honestly, it's my favorite show of the year so far. Genetically engineered to destroy me. So
unlucky, I think. Okay. Oh fuck, that's what I forgot to add. I'll put it below. Yeah, I'll put it below Odd Taxi. All right, so. Alright, so this is my ranking. Basically, if I go from the bottom to the top, I'm not counting the ones I dropped, because fuck that. Bishounen Tanteidan is my lowest ranked show. It's a 7. It was fun. The last episode is my favorite part. I just don't care about anybody really that much except for Hot Lady. After that, Osamake, which at any time can become a 7. And then everything else from here is an 8 and up. Max Level Witch is up, and then on top of that is 86. After that is Kumo Desu. Then Odd Taxi. Above Odd Taxi is Zombieland Saga Revenge. Above Zombieland Saga Revenge is MHA Season 5. And like I'm not ranking To Your Eternity in here because it's not done.
Ongoing. You're not, and you are not caught up, right? It's different with MHA where you are caught up. I would assume.
I've already read this fucking manga. I've already read this fucking manga.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so I already know that I like what's gonna happen. So like, there's no point in me even like it's already adapting it super well. At this point, I'm so invested. I've already watched so much of the MHA anime. I have to fucking Slime Diaries is my second favorite show of the entire season, and of course, fucking Vivy's number 1. There's nothing else.
Vivy.
Terrible fucking awful show made by terrible fucking awful people. The only reason it's not my favorite show of the year is because ReZero Season 2 exists.
Which is also by fucking Nagatsuki and...
terrible human being. He fucking hang himself for how much he's hurt
So
me.
real quick, I guess,
and then I'll hang myself.
Relevant to you, favorite opening of the spring season and favorite ending of the spring season?
Alright. So, my favorite opening is probably, like... Let me think. Because it's between fucking... Because Kumo Desu's second opening is a banger. This Konomi Suzuki opening. Zombieland Saga Revenge's opening is fucking fire. It's amazing. Bishounen Tanteidan's is a fucking banger. Amazing, incredible. Odd Taxis is surprisingly really, really good. Mm-hmm. It's hard to pick between them. I would say my favorite of them all is probably gonna have to be fuck it, it's Vivy's.
Yeah, no, it's really hard to pick for openings.
After the fucking show ruined me, it pulled that bullshit where they fucking sing the opening. I was like, okay, guess I'm dead. Guess I'm fucking dying now.
Yeah, I think I think I would also give it to Vivy's, though I really like Dynazenon's would probably be close. Visually, I also like Shadow's House and Godzilla S.P.'s openings. Maybe Godzilla is up there because I do really like Godzilla's opening.
Craftsdwarf, actually, I'm on drugs. I know what my favorite opening is, actually. Fuck it.
What?
It's Eden Zero's opening.
Oh, okay. I forgot
It's
about
a fucking...
that. We didn't talk about
The reason
it.
why is because I'm waiting till that shit's on fucking Netflix, and like I'm waiting till that shit's on Netflix. I've already caught up to the manga, and I love the fucking manga. Hiro Mashima saved manga, saved all of media. But like fucking Eden Zero's opening is a fucking TM Revolution or Takanoshi, no, whatever what his fucking real name is. It's a fucking banger. Eden to the Rough is such a fucking good song, like, and like
Has
the way
it
the
gotten
opening.
a second opening yet?
I've not seen. I haven't seen if there is one.
Oh,
It
no, wait,
shouldn't get a second opening because fucking Eat Into the Rough invented anime opening. So like,
It's actually really funny how like that's such like well let's talk about fucking spring anime for like 2.5 hours. What's your favorite opening? None of the shows we brought up at all. Like, sorry, I just think it's just such a swerve. Like not that it's undeserved or anything. I just think it's funny.
The only reason Eden Zero's not on here is literally just because I haven't seen it yet because of the fucking. I've read it though, so I already know I'm gonna like the anime.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen,
and it seems like a good adaptation. So.
Oh yeah,
Like,
JC staff finally did
just
something
from what
right.
I've seen from like the little screen caps and stuff. Like, yeah, cool. It doesn't look like Fairy Tail, which does not look like a good.
Imagine looking like Fairy Tail.
So
best ED.
Oh, I was gonna.
What is your
start
best
with
ED?
Oh, Shadow's House, 100%. Holy shit, it's a good ED. You should watch it. Maybe it'll make you want to watch the show because it's just way better. Like the opening for Shadow's House is really visually good, but there's no there's no vocals for the music, so it just doesn't stand out as much song wise. But the ending, it's cool visually, and I like the song. So it's just like kind of easily my favorite ending for the season. Personally.
I didn't hear your opening. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Shadow's House, you bitch.
Oh, no, your opening. I said opening.
I don't know. Because I think Vivy's is really good. I like Dynazenon's. I meant Godzilla is up there, I think. Odd Taxis was good, but I don't think I'd put it up there. I don't know. God, I like all three of them. I like Vivy is just. I mean, it's a great show, and the opening's really good, like visually, and they do. But Dynazenon's is hype. Dynazenon is hype, and then Godzilla's I think is just really cool visually, and I also like it. And it's I don't know. I quit.
Unlucky. My favorite ED, MHA season 5's. It's a fucking Peggy's ED. It's a Peggy song. It's just the fucking class A going to the hanging out and broing out, but the fucking song's a banger.
Is it the first ED or the second ED?
The first ED, yeah. I mean, the second ED is also really good, but like, I was like, but it's so good. This fucking Peggy's ED is really good. I think aside from that, if I didn't do MHA season 5 and be basic or something, I see the thing is like, Vivy's played like. It was just the piano version, and like it was, I don't know. I would say Bishounen Tanteidans, but like, too much leg. I don't know how I'd feel about that. Yeah, no, it's probably fucking. Yeah, it's MHA season 5's. Never mind, I'm on drugs.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we got our ranking, we got our opening ending. So I think that about covers the spring seasonal roundup. Imagine how much this is going to be when Nani and Vindy finish shows for summer.
Well, Vindy's only gonna fucking watch one show.
Yeah, that right. Like, and
like how many? Yeah. How many am I watching? Right? Because you're only watching 6, but I'm fucking watching 1, 2.
Well, I'm going to
3,
watch another like 4. 5 or so. My current plan is I'm going to
unlucky.
My current plan is like. In this month or next, I'm going to catch up to a bunch of the shows, or at least like 2 or 3 or 4, maybe like 2 or 3, and then I'll like watch because I'm not fucking catching up to Manga fucking record, but I want to watch it because I hate it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! No.
So my plan is just to like catch up to a few of them, and maybe I'll drop them. Who knows? We'll see. And like maybe I'll watch a couple episodes of D side and be like, oh, this makes me want to come in S side.
Oh.
I'm curious as to how the next one will go because it'll be the first one we've done since also that we'll have also done the start of the season roundup, right? So
I can't wait to do a fucking 7 hour video, man. 7 hour podcast.
Anyway, so thank you for listening. If you watched let's listen to the whole thing or just the ending. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Suicide.